really nice.
Forecaster Cody Moore from the National Weather Service says any rain will likely happen after the race and will mostly be to the south. Conditions are dry today for Carb Day at IMS. The IMS Museum announcing plans to build a new facility in Speedway for car restoration, as well as some events that'll be located in Speedway just south of the track, and another move by IMS and the museum to promote the city and the greatest spectacle in racing.
Be more immersive, participatory, interactive, educational, but also entertaining. And I hope people are going to be entertained.
That's Museum President Joe Hale speaking with Indiana Business Insider. Construction on the 60,000 square foot space will begin this summer and last till later next year. In other news, a former Martinsville substitute teacher now facing a total of 41 charges stemming from disturbing allegations of sexual abuse against 2 minors. One of those victims reported multiple instances of abuse from Brittany Fortenberry. Investigators say she sexually abused students, provided them with drugs, and engaged in other harmful activities. She's currently in jail awaiting trial. Gas prices trickling back up this week. $3.25 a gallon is the statewide average for gas, according to Gas Buddy. In Indianapolis, the average is $3.27. The Indiana Pacers still riding high from that epic win in Game 1, now getting dialed in for Game 2 with the New York Knicks this evening. Head coach Rick Carlisle.
After an experience like that, you've got to be able to wipe it, move on, and get ready for the next battle. I mean, these are all going to be epic battles.
Game 3 will be back in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on Sunday, the night of the 109th Indianapolis 500. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer, what's going on?
What's happening, Jared? Looking at southbound 6570, that stop-and-go traffic, north split down to the south split, and continuing down to Raymond Street into that new traffic configuration. It is a construction zone. It's going to be there for a long time, in fact, until the end of next year. So please be careful as you make your first trip through that here this morning. Traffic sponsored by Indiana Foundation Services. Water damaging your home? Contact Indiana Foundation Service, the basement concrete foundation experts. Get your free inspection today. Learn more at IndianaFoundationService.com. Licensed in all 50 states where work is performed. I'm Matt Baer with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Many nonprofits struggle with staffing issues, but through the Senior Community Service Employment Program, or CSEP, 501(c)(3)s with limited budgets can get cost-free supplemental employees while helping train people 55 and over for a new career. Trainees are motivated, reliable employees, and their wages are completely covered by the Indiana Department of Workforce Development. To learn more, go to backtowork.dwd.in.gov. That's backtowork.dwd.in.gov.
This May, be a hero at the finish line. Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives remind you to say yes to organ donation the next time you're at the BMV.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits dealer.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny skies for the day today. Seasonably cool, a touch breezy at times with highs near 67. Down to 48 degrees tonight under partly cloudy skies. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Time for Kendall and Casey.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
No. Don't even start with it today.
Start with what?
All the stories you gave me, they were all negative news.
Okay.
And we are not doing negative news today.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful weekend ahead of us in the Circle City. It's Carb Day today.
Yeah.
You got the race on Sunday. We're honoring those who have laid their lives down for the country. I am not dealing with any of this negative news that you gave me, the list of choices to start the show with today. No way, no how.
It's racing, it's rock and roll, it's pure bliss, Miller Lite Carb Day, the ultimate turbo boost into the greatest weekend in racing.
Yeah, so you better come up with a new batch of stories here, woman, because it is a beautiful Friday afternoon. We're shaping up to be a great weekend. And I'm just not having any of those stories that you laid out.
We'll get into Carb Day and, of course, the Weenie 500, which I'm really excited about. We're going to talk about that.
What is the Weenie? I keep hearing Jarrett Lewis, the newsman extraordinaire of the Kendall and Casey show, was talking about this. And I don't even know, what is it?
It's the Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles racing around the track.
They're racing on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you remember when we interviewed them a few years ago?
I do remember that.
Well, we're going to find out who the top dog is.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
You relish this conversation.
Oh!
Okay,
be honest. How long did you set that up for yourself?
Catch up, Rob.
Yeah.
I've been using that line forever.
Hey-o!
You want to talk about something that might tickle your fancy?
Absolutely.
How about Diego Morales' campaign being under investigation for violating Indiana election laws?
Boy, howdy, you hit the jackpot. Ding, ding, ding. What's going on with that scumbag?
When I spin it like that, that makes you smile.
Yes.
So the Marion County Election Board has launched an investigation into a campaign ad that Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales used. Okay, so the investigation was approved earlier in this week, and it targets a possible election law violation.
Okay, so this centers around, and look, it's one red flag after another with this guy. Sometimes people do things, and what's the old saying? A potato is just a potato. Is that what is the old saying? Sometimes
where there's smoke, there's fire.
No, where something is just it's a thing, right? Like it's just one thing and it's not a big deal, and you know what I'm saying, right?
Sometimes a potato is just a potato.
I don't know. It's sometimes a something is just a something. What's the saying? You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I don't.
Sometimes. Whatever, like it's a thing. It's not more than you make it out to be, is what I'm saying. Okay. You know, you want something to be something more than it is. Kevin is feverishly looking it up. I can tell right now. Hey, did you put in Google? Sometimes a something is just a something. I bet if you do that, it'll fill in the blank for you.
Yeah, I just typed in a potato is a.
I don't think it's
expression.
Kev, I don't think we gotta have a Google. We gotta have some sort of Google training with you. It's not actually a potato. So, let's see if I try this. Sometimes a something is just a something. What's the thing? So, I don't even.
I think you're making things up.
No,
at this point.
there's an actual saying for this. Anyway, I'll find it.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Thank you. There it was. See?
Oh, from Sigmund Freud.
Now, don't you feel bad? It was a thing.
Cigar, potato, whatever.
Well, I told you I didn't know what the thing was. I was winging it. It's one of those things where, you know how we talked about with my brain, how the cabinet, it's just like this giant
file cabinet.
And sometimes there's so much in that things have to be moved out. Well, this is one where it wasn't all the way moved out. It was like half. The file cabinet was so full that there was half a file sticking out.
You've got papers bursting out, and they're actually falling down to the back of the file cabinet and jamming the other drawers.
Thank you. And so the out was the potato, and it was a cigar. Thank you. You thought I was... Don't you feel horrible that you were like, this man is on drugs this morning?
Walks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Thank you, Kevin.
Back to Diego Morales.
Wait, no, I'm not done. I was trying to make a point with that. Sometimes there's a one-off with somebody, and it looks weird, or it doesn't make sense, and you dig on it, and you just... That's what you find, right? That it was just a one thing, and it is what it is, and it's no big deal. With this guy, it's crap all the time with him. There's always something with him. And are we supposed to believe they're all just these one-off things and that it is what it is? Or are we to believe this is a pattern of behavior that shows you this guy is a complete shyster who believes he can do whatever he wants to do and the rules don't apply to him?
Okay, so he's suspected of using footage from an official Election Day visit to the Marion County Election Board Service Center in his campaign ad. We played part of the ad. It's like a 3-minute long thing. Actually, I think it's more like 5 minutes long. And he put it up on social media. He didn't actually broadcast it anywhere. And because he only put it up on YouTube, which he then linked to his Facebook and Twitter accounts, he didn't have to clarify at the end who paid for it. I know you're surprised by that.
What, Diego didn't want to tell you who paid for something?
But that's not the violation. The violation...
Oh, but go back to that.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have to, wouldn't common sense tell you as the head election official in the state, whatever the barrier is to access, I've got to go 3 steps above it. I've always got to be above. It's like what Roger Penske is going through right now. Like, does he have to bring in some third party to separate himself from the teams? Does he have to consider either selling the teams or the track or whatever? No. But he has stated, not in these exact words, I hold myself to a higher standard. I love this sport. I know I am the tippy top guy in the sport. And when these alleged cheating or playing fast with the rules or whatever you want to call it, violations occur, I recognize changes have to be made, which is why he fired all those main guys on his staff, which is probably really going to cost his drivers on Sunday. But he said, look, I have to be above reproach. And so whatever the barrier is, I'm going to go 3 steps above that so that people have confidence in this race, in this track, in this sport. But with Diego, not only is he not going above and beyond, it's like he's cutting every corner imaginable. Why wouldn't you tell people who paid for the ad? It's my ad. I paid for it. Boom. Very easy.
Well, in that particular instance, because it was on the internet, which is accessible, YouTube, there's no entry fee to get into YouTube. He didn't have to declare who paid for the ad or who he paid to edit it or shoot it. That's not the violation.
Did he do it in India, Casey? We don't know.
The violation here is that Indiana law prohibits government employees from using their official capacity to advocate for an election, and the ad includes video from his visit to the service center, and that is potentially breaching the law.
Okay, so what Casey is saying is he went into a voting center in Marion County, or a voting facility in Marion County.
As the Secretary of State.
He brings a camera with him, which is fine. They're filming it, which is fine. But there's all these people who are doing their official government work. He's there in his official government capacity. These people are trying. They're volunteers or paid employees. They're not trying to be political. They're there to work. And then all of a sudden now they're in this ad, which one would lead a person to believe, A, these people could be supporting you in some capacity, which they're not. They're not there to do that. They're there to work. And 2, that somehow this official function is in support of your political endeavors, which it's not. Your official function is to serve elections, to properly administer elections, which is the job of the Secretary of State. The politics and the government. Totally separate. Casey, you have someone in your house who now works for the state government. How quickly into the process did they take the training, and how quickly did they spell out the clear delineation between politics and government?
Of ethics. It was on day 1.
Exactly. And this guy, we're either led to believe one of 2 things. Either, A, he don't know how the election laws work, and or the laws of the state work. Because the fact that he would even put himself in this position, whether ultimately the election board concludes some sort of violation occurred or didn't, by the way, the funsy part of this is if they find he did something wrong, it could go to Ryan Mears. The Marion County prosecutor would be in charge of taking care of this. Now, he ain't going to do nothing about violent offenders, but Diego, I bet he'd get all over that.
He'll have something to say about that.
So either you're so aloof as the chief elections officer of the state of Indiana that you don't know, man, this really could be crossing a line. It could be perceived as a crossing the line. I better not do this. Or you're so arrogant, you simply don't care. One of these 2 things are the only 2 logical conclusions here. And either way, it's another red flag. Now, should we send the guy to Guantanamo Bay over this? I don't know. But it's a pattern of behavior with this guy where it's always something.
It's always something. And the fact that he was the Secretary of State and he went into an area that the Gen Pop cannot go to.
That's right.
He was the Secretary of State. That was the way he was able to access that space. And then he turned around and used it in his campaign ad. So the county clerk, Kate Bell, she has called for the video's removal. And that does underscore the seriousness of the allegation.
Well, this is the other thing, and I know we get to break here, but this is the other thing. They went to him and said, hey, this appears to be in violation. Take it down. We're all going to part friends here, right?
Yeah.
He told him smooch both of his butt cheeks and said, I ain't doing anything, and it's still up, and this is why it's gone to where it's gone, is because he's so arrogant about it. They went to him and tried to be nice about it and was like, dude, you can't be doing that.
Yep.
And that ad is still up and it's still running, which means he don't care.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
Rob Gronkowski is going to be the Indy 500 Coors Light Snake Pit Grand Marshal. That's deflating. See what I did there? See what I did? Come on, that's good. I think that means he's in charge of being somebody who wears pants to model good behavior. I should broadcast from the Snake Pit. Full suit, cigar, broadcasting from the Snake Pit. Challenge accepted.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Hello, friends. It's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy. Now, maybe you're heading out to the racetrack today. Maybe you're heading out on Monday, or Sunday, I should say. Either way, if you want to be the most beautiful person at the racetrack next year, that could be within your grasp with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy. See, Casey's nodding along. She totally agrees. Probably out of luck this year. But next year, if you say, my goal is to be the most beautiful person at the racetrack, you can do it by calling our friends at We Grow Hair Indy. If you're feeling a little light on top and you want to get your confidence back, here's how you do it. You call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. You schedule the totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. Darren and the gang take a look at what you got going on, and they give you some suggestions on how to get your hair back. In the meantime, as you're pondering it all, you're thinking it all over, see how some other folks, maybe they wanted to be the most beautiful person at the track, maybe they just wanted their confidence back, how they got results from We Grow Hair Indy by heading over to their website, WeGrowHairIndy.com, WeGrowHairIndy.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
What is 988?
It's a free 24-hour suicide and crisis lifeline.
And what is a crisis?
Maybe something you experience so often.
You don't even think it's a crisis.
Anxiety over money.
A stressful relationship.
Concerns about a loved one's mental health.
If you are experiencing thoughts of suicide or mental health or substance use crisis, call or text 988.
It's a listening ear.
And it's a way forward.
Would you know if someone you love was having a stroke? Franciscan Health is here when minutes matter, like knowing when to be fast. Recognized by Health Grades as Indiana's #1 provider for stroke care, Franciscan Health Indianapolis wants you to know how to spot the signs and lower your risk for stroke. Because time loss is brain loss. Protect yourself and those you love today. Learn more at franciscanhealth.org/strokecare.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
The Memorial Day sale is on at Sundown Gardens in Westfield. 20% off container trees and shrubs, 30% off pottery. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundowngardens.com.
Heat and cool places where ductwork won't fit using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits. You can even wrap them to match your decor.
Find out more at absolutecomfort.org.
Told you no negative stories.
It's only negative depending on how you feel about him.
That first story was great. Potentially, maybe Diego could end up in prison. It was a great way to start the show.
I don't know. This is a problem that you're having, maybe.
What's that?
Todd Young.
Oh, no. See, right there. Boom. You went from hero to zero, Casey. You started out with the story that Diego could potentially end up in a maximum security facility somewhere for violating the state election laws, potentially, maybe, hopefully, and then you're going to follow it up. You came rip-roaring out of the gate. It's like you hit. You know who you turned into? You became Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh.
You hit the perfect 350-yard drive to start the hole. You got a little flip wedge into the green, and you got no distance control. You airmailed the green by following up with the Todd Young story. What is the Duke of Spendenberg doing?
It's a really nice post, Rob. I don't know what the problem is. He just said, fun to share some Hoosier hospitality with my Senate GOP colleagues today. We had St. Elmo shrimp cocktail at lunch, and each senator received a bag of Indiana treats. And underneath a checkered flag, there's a picture of all the goodies that he passed out to his colleagues in the Senate, and you can see some Albanese.
Stop. If there ever a perfect analogy for Todd Young, you can see all the goodies he passed out in the Senate. That is, I don't know if you meant to do that or not, but if there was ever a sentence that described the Duke of Spendenberg, Todd Young, it was you can see the bag of all the goodies he's passed out in the Senate.
Yep. So the interesting thing is in the picture that you can see it's a brown bag and it's got some checkered ribbon on it to, make it cute and fun.
No, and so think about this. We all know Spendenberg didn't do this himself.
No, he had some staff.
Which means some taxpayer-funded person, their job so Doge is cutting everywhere, right? And in the Senate, we have people. Remember we talked about when Banks got into it with that guy in the basement or whatever it was, and he's like basically mocking the guy who got fired because of Doge. And then he gets on an elevator and he's surrounded by federally funded manservants before he goes up as he's running away in the elevator. So that's fine. You got Young, whose staff apparently has so little to do they can tie baggies for the senators.
Yeah, so they're little brown bags, like gift bags, and each bag has a checkered white and black ribbon on the top.
How is this benefiting the taxpayers?
There are Todd Young stickers on each of the bags.
Wait, what do you mean?
You're sure who gave you this gift.
So these are for the senators?
Yeah.
But they don't know who he is?
Well,
Who is this man who's giving me this checkered colored bag?
And it looks like each bag has an Indy 500 baseball cap in it. It looks like an IU koozie. There's a Signetti flag. There's an IU football. There's a cookie from somewhere. There's some St. Elmo seasoning. Looks like a bag of popcorn. I'm not sure where the bag of popcorn came from, but clearly.
You know what
Indiana.
I wish? I wish Todd Young would drink a bottle of that St. Elmo seasoning. Because I had to eat just a little bit of it.
Yeah.
In that shrimp eating contest that I won at the women's NIT at Butler. And I think all of these people, that's the punishment. If you voted for the spending bill that just passed the House, and if you're a senator and you vote for the spending bill, I think you should have to drink an entire bottle of the St. Elmo sauce. I think instead of prison, maybe that's what we should start making people do, because boy, howdy, Casey, just a little drip of that stuff, and it's fabulous in very small quantities.
Well, your tongue would be burning,
Well, just excoriate your insides. And I think that's what we should have to do, because that's what these lawmakers are doing to this country. They are excoriating the insides of this country, spinning us into oblivion, and as punishment, we should make them drink an entire bottle of the St. Elmo's cocktail sauce.
He also has a bag of the Albanese candy gummy bears in there, and there's a card that says "Back Home Again in Indiana." And I'm trying to read what's on the other side of the card. I'd have to zoom in here.
It's probably got the numbers. What, he's got to be close to 16 trillion now, which is the amount of money Todd Young has added to our nation's debt while he has been a United States senator. And he told us how is this helping the taxpayers?
Well, he's making friends, right?
He's not. There's only 100 of them.
Oh,
it's not like
okay.
This is some large high school.
What's on the back of the card is a description of everything that's in the bag. Cookie Cottage cookies.
Oh.
Let's see here. Market Square popcorn. That's where the popcorn came from. It looks like Purdue University merch. I don't see anything from Purdue laying out on the table.
Because that's what some guy who is a senator from Delaware is going to want. He's going to want a Purdue hat to wear around because he's got a lot of ties to Purdue. Why can't these people work for us, Casey? Why are they never doing things that help us? What is this guy going to do about the Republican plan to add $20 trillion to the nation's debt? Has he commented on that? Is there a bag of goodies for the taxpayer on how he intends to stop adding $20 trillion to the nation's debt, or treating certain work better than others, or the massive unfunded liabilities that'll continue to happen? How about he do that instead of handing out merch to his colleagues who already know who he is and where he's from?
He's trying to celebrate Indiana.
Okay, wait. When we come back.
Yeah.
Some guy got mad at us. I sent this to you yesterday. Some guy got mad at us on the Kendall and Casey Facebook page yesterday.
Correction. Some guy got mad at you.
Well, it's our Facebook page. Whether you choose to participate in it or not. I think if you know you're going to hand something carte blanche over to me, you should be expecting some smoke to come out of that.
Yeah.
Some guy got mad yesterday, and I'd like to read his correspondence.
Okay.
And then see if he has a case, or like if the country is just growing soft.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Prepare for the summer heat with energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. Window Nation windows are built to keep your house cool during the hot summer days, and Window Nation has some of the best energy-efficient windows on the market. Their windows frequently outperform and outlast some of the more expensive guys. Window Nation windows are assembled right here in America. Check out this deal right now. When you buy 4 windows, you'll get 4 for free. For 2 years, you won't have to worry about a down payment, interest, or monthly payments. That's right, you don't pay anything until 2027. And if that's not enough, get a free entry door when you buy a house of windows. But you have to mention Hammer and Nigel sent you. You don't get the deal without saying Hammer and Nigel sent you. 866-90-NATION. Schedule a fast, free estimate right now with Window Nation, or visit windownation.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Seeking the death penalty. Sunny sky, currently 52 in Indianapolis. The high today, 67. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Washington, D.C. mourning Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky after the 2 Israeli embassy staffers were gunned down outside the Capitol Jewish Museum Wednesday night. The shooting remains under investigation. Chicago resident Elias Rodriguez has been charged with their 2 murders. Speaking at a vigil Thursday night, National Council of Jewish Women CEO Sheila Katz says she worked with Sarah and said Sarah was dedicated to equality and human rights.
She got this dream job at the Israeli embassy, working in the civil society department, really trying to build a better world with love.
Rodriguez was caught on tape shouting "Free Palestine" after the shooting. Attorney General Pam Bondi says they will likely seek the death penalty in this case. Republicans are seeking to drag former President Joe Biden's doctor and other Biden administration staffers before Congress to see what they knew about the former president's health.
The small group of staffers that formed a tight circle around Joe Biden for his one and only term all just got letters from the House Oversight Committee to come in and explain what they did or did not do to conceal his decline from the American public.
Fox's Peter Ducey from the White House. The demand comes days after President Biden announced a diagnosis of prostate cancer. President Trump says trade talks with the European Union are going nowhere. Trump is now threatening the EU with high tariffs, perhaps a 50% tariff on all imports. And two highly anticipated films are now set to be released in theaters on the same day next year. Avengers Doomsday will be out Christmas time of 2026, along with Dune Messiah. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is down 570 points to 41,859. Also down is the S&P 500 to 5,842. And the NASDAQ is also in the red, 393 points to 21,112. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104 to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Meijer stores.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling? We'll find that independent American Standard air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
This is the end. Beautiful friend.
It's so well done, Kevin. It'll make sense in a minute. Let's let it go for a second.
This is the end. My only friend. The
It's
end.
the Kendall Casey show. So, It is amazing to me. That's Casey. I'm Rob. It is amazing to me, just the variety of people who listen to this program and how they respond to the program in question.
Yeah.
Like, I feel on a daily basis, now they deserve it. I'm not apologizing for it. I'm not saying it's not warranted. We say the most offensive things uttered publicly about a wide swath of public people in our society, most of them politicians, right? And obviously it's not crass. It's not, we're bound by regulatory standards. We're not using a slew of unusable profanity or anything like that. But on a daily basis, we're pretty hard on a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And if you...
Well, you're talking about people mostly who want to lord over us. We are mandated to pay their salary.
That's right.
So we expect certain things in return.
Right. So that's the key. As long as you're not messing with our stuff, we leave you alone.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the theme of this show. I told you, if I were running for State House or State Senate next year, my campaign slogan, and anybody can use this that you want attributed to me. Of course, you know I want the credit. But anybody may use this. I am putting it out there for anybody to use. If I were running for State House or State Senate next year, my slogan would be, I want less of your stuff.
Right.
On all my mailers, my signs, in big letters. Name, slogan. I want less of your stuff.
Right.
And that is us. Just leave us alone. We want you to take less of our stuff. When you start taking our stuff, that's when we get pissed off. And that's when we start commenting about you.
Right. I mean, think about this. When it comes to our politicians, we pay their salary.
Yeah, that's right.
We are paying them to make choices for us.
That's correct.
We have to pay them. We don't have a choice. It's part of paying taxes.
Yes.
That's where their salary comes from.
That's right.
You go to a job, you get a paycheck, taxes are taken out. A portion of those taxes pay their salary.
That's correct.
So you would expect they would do what you want.
Right, but they don't.
That's when we get angry.
Right. So as long as you don't take my stuff, I leave you alone. When you start messing with my stuff as either a politician or someone receiving the money that is taken from me by politicians, yeah, you damn well better believe I'm going to comment on it. And I have every right to, because if you stop taking the stuff, you wouldn't hear a word from me about it. All right, so Jim Irsay passed away yesterday.
Yep, late owner of the Indianapolis Colts.
And I thought we went out of our way because and I've been at this for 9 years this way. When you're a public figure and you pass away, I'm going to comment on your public life, the good, the bad, the ugly, because that's why you're being commented on, because you're a public figure. And oftentimes it's a shade of a little bit of each, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? That makes you a public figure. There are thousands of people every day in communities across central Indiana who pass away, and we don't mention them. Doesn't mean they didn't have an impact on the world in which they lived, but it was not as broad as the people we're talking about.
Correct.
We're talking about you because you were a public figure. We don't read the obituaries here. So if we're going to talk about you as a public figure, we would be disingenuous and doing a disservice to our audience if we didn't mention all of it as a public figure, because that was your life. And so Jim Irsay passes away. I thought we went out of our way, out of the gate, to mention he was a very philanthropic person.
Yeah, he left a profound legacy of philanthropy and community engagement and cultural enrichment for Indianapolis.
And did we or not lead with that, right? That was the first thing we said in terms of defining Jim Irsay's public life. He was very generous with the money that was in his pocketbook.
Yeah, and we listed many of the things that he contributed to. Kicking the Stigma, that initiative, probably one of the biggest successes that he had. The Irsay family, they committed over $17 million through grants and personal donations to that to raise awareness about mental health disorders. And that was a great thing that they began in 2020.
And then we went out of our way next to mention that how he was the owner of the Colts, as the Colts went from a cellar dweller, bottom feeder of the NFL to next to the New England Patriots, 1A, 1B, the most mentioned, publicized, franchise in the league for basically a decade and a half. Did we not mention that? We mentioned that about how he was the owner. He oversaw it. A lot of it was luck with being able to, draft Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. No pun intended, right?
Yes, and we did. We listed the successes that they had and, all the championship games.
Right.
And we also mentioned how it was because of Jim Irsay that Indianapolis has a sports identity.
Yes, so the first two things we mentioned were very positive things, correct? Mm-hmm. And then we got to the third aspect, which is of Jim Irsay's public persona. The lasting legacy of Jim Irsay will be Lucas Oil Stadium. Mm-hmm. Good, bad, or indifferent, it changed the skyline and the structure of Indianapolis. And we said if we're going to mention the life of Jim Irsay,
all the great, wonderful things that he did for Indianapolis and the state,
you cannot mention the life of Jim Irsay without that stadium. And when you mention that stadium, you cannot not mention that it was paid for almost exclusively by tax increases on us. And so by default, by the tax increases on us to build the stadium, and then the money and the sweetheart deal that Jim Irsay was able to negotiate for himself based on getting a percentage of everything that takes place in that stadium, whether it's Colts related or not, the money that he was giving away was generated. And by the way, he got the money based on threatening to move the team. He got the stadium on threatening to move the team. He knew I'm not pointing at you and saying you specifically, but you, the listener, were going to be up in arms if you lost the Colts. And he leveraged that. Great business move.
It was a negotiation tactic.
If you care about yourself and your pocketbook, that's a great business move. It was a horrible move for the taxpayers. You have been paying now for generations, literally generations. You have been paying tax increases for the Irsay family to have free stadiums, both at the Hoosier Dome and now certainly at Lucas Oil Stadium, which you still owe hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. That deal was so egregious for taxpayers that the state signed off on. And look, ultimately the blame lies with the legislature because they did the deal. But we cannot not mention that Irsay leveraged moving the team to get tax increases to pay for that stadium. That deal was so egregious that it changed the landscape of how stadiums were funded going forward. You have not seen a stadium funded, baseball, basketball, football, whatever, because that the funding of the Colts stadium was that egregious. That is obvious. It is indisputable what we laid out about him leveraging the moving of the team, that it was paid for with tax increases, and that it changed how sports stadiums were funded going forward. It's not up for debate. It's not up for discussion. These are factual. It played out at the time. You can look it up for yourself. I don't think, is that in any way being mean if we're talking about the legacy of a public person to talk about arguably the biggest thing that we'll leave behind with his stamp on it, that we go in depth on how that happened and how that affected our audience?
Well, I do believe that that's an area that could be argued that will be the enduring legacy of Jim Irsay. But it's not the only part of him, and that's where the problem is, because we did mention all of the wonderful things that he contributed to the city, but you can't just do the rainbows and puppy dog side of things. We were being honest. There's also this happened as well,
and it matters because the money he gave away was your money. That was your money that was given to him, the stadium, which is the overwhelming source of his wealth. Look at his wealth pre-Lucas Oil Stadium and after Lucas Oil Stadium. And that money was given away on the backs of you. It's no different than the government. Is the government noble if they take money from you and give it to someone else? I guess in the eyes of the beneficiary, it's great, but it wasn't their money. It's not like when Donald Trump or any of these people do spending plans, they're using their own money. They're using your money. And I don't think that makes you, we've done this with every politician, we've done this every public figure we talk about, where we lay out the good, the bad, and the ugly in their public life. That's all irrefutable stuff that we laid out. It's not like it was an opinion of us that the taxes were raised to pay for that stadium, or that it's our opinion that he leveraged moving the Colts to Los Angeles or other places. And some guy sent this message. This is the only negative message we got about this, but I thought we've got to read this because this is amazing that this is what push this guy over the edge. Can I do a dramatic reading?
Sure.
This is Jerry that sent the message.
Okay.
You're selfish. Disrespect for Jim Irsay today lost me. I doubt it shows up in these precious ratings. I'd posted the ratings. That's what he was responding to, by the way.
Yeah.
Our fabulous ratings came out. I doubt it shows up in these precious ratings. But I can't be the only one that noticed the selfish, childish arrogance on display today. You know better. And I expected more from you. Really? Hi, it's the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. Have we met? How closely do you actually listen? Oh, well. I got a kick out of you for a long time. Farewell, my friend.
Bye.
So anyway, we made one guy mad because we had the audacity to point out a defining legacy of a guy who is a public figure was paid for by tax increases and him potentially leveraging, or not potentially, but leveraging a potential move of the team in order to secure the tax increases. That's what did it for him.
We also did point out that Jim Irsay's multifaceted contributions have left a mark on Indianapolis and
Thank
beyond.
you for doing that, Casey.
Yes.
Thank you for making that possible.
Yeah. We reflected on his commitment to improving lives through mental health advocacy, community development, also cultural enrichment. And also we highlighted his successes in regards to football.
You know what they ought to do out in front of Lucas Oil Stadium, next to the Peyton Manning statue, or wherever you want to put it, is just a giant statue that says the word taxpayers on it. Because all of that is there. Not because of Peyton Manning or anybody else. It's there because you paid for it. And just for once, I would like the taxpayers to get the thanks that they deserve. All right, we can go to break.
It's Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
This afternoon, 3:06, the Hammer and Nigel Show live at Carb Day, Garage 23, the Hensley Legal Group Command Center, and it's Beer Sample Friday.
When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. After the back nine, enjoy world-class dining and distilleries, shops, spas, museums, and more. Find your new Golf MO at visitmo.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate, 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text PACK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text PEC to 321-321. That's PACK to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Hi, Jeff Roush for Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Navigator MSRP 105,575, Nautilus MSRP 6195, Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers good through May 31st, 2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number.
The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Technology Recyclers is the safe and ethical choice for your computer and electronics recycling. R2 certified, 100% landfill free, guaranteed destruction of data, and absolutely free pickups. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
I gave it a shot and I came in and had the procedure done. To me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago.
More tariffs later, tornadoes possible. WIBC.com gives you more than just headlines. It's context, updates, and insight. Whether you're at work, on the move, or catching up late, the latest is already there. Stay in the know while you're on the go at WIBC.com.
Wait.
What?
You're leaving for how long?
I'm not going to be back until June 2nd. Yes!
No, I think that sounds longer than it actually is. That's
Yeah,
next
it's a week.
That's next
It's a
week, right?
Yeah.
You'll be gone for a whole
You're
week?
gone Monday.
Yes, I am gone Monday, as is Kevin.
So it's only 4 days.
Oh, wait, are you gone Monday, Kevin? Or do you have to show up to work?
I'll be gone Monday.
Okay, Kevin's gone Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if you're on the same exclusive employment plan that Casey and I were on, but you will be out Monday.
Yeah, they're giving me a break.
That's great. Very good. Okay, so you're going to be gone all week, which means I will be with sure I won't be lucky.
Rotating cast of characters.
Sure, I
I'm
won't be
guessing.
lucky enough to just sit here by myself.
No.
You know, my
they
goal,
always make you have some adult supervision.
Matt was like, he goes, maybe the last day we can let you do it by yourself.
Maybe.
He didn't even unprompted.
Maybe.
He just said it before he even told me who I was working with. He's like, maybe the last day you'll be able to do it by yourself.
It depends on how you do.
My
the
whole goal
days.
in life, and I am this way in my personal life, when I get home from work each day, I have basically 4 hours where I just sit there by myself. And that has been my goal in life, is to as much as humanly possible, sit there by myself. So you're not going to be here. You're abandoning us for the race. You're leaving today? Is that right? You're out of here?
Well, you know, the first year I went to the Indy 500, it was during COVID. So it was half capacity, and I met those cowboys in the hotel lobby, and they gave us pit passes.
Your men friends, yes.
And it was just an amazing experience. Yep. And then the second year, we walked to the Speedway from our house, which took hours upon hours, and sweated the whole way there.
Yep.
And then the third year we went, you might say that I was a bit overserved. So found a nice patch of grass and kind of tried to find some shade with a lot of other people. So we decided that it might be best not to be here this year.
Kev, are you staying or are you going? What are you doing? What's going on?
For the race?
You're going to be here, right? This weekend, next
Yeah, I'm
week?
going to be here this weekend, but I don't think I'm going to go to the race this year.
Very
I
good.
will be watching it.
So, Kev, but you're out of here, right? You're
From
gone.
Northern Virginia.
Okay, very
yes.
good. Kev, Sunday night, this is my cordial invitation. You don't have to speak right now. Myself and my good friend, newsman extraordinaire Ben Verbanek, the most beautiful man in all of Terre Haute news, we're going to be heading downtown. Kev, you can probably guess where we're going. We're going to crush a few brews and watch the Pacers games amongst the folks. You're more than welcome to join us.
You guys can cheer on Stingray Rob together.
No, not the race. No, I'm not doing the race.
Night, right?
Yeah, it'll be a night. You have a double header for you, Kev.
Yeah.
You do the race and then come out with us.
I guess it depends on what condition I'm in, but yeah, I'll keep you posted.
We'll see what condition the condition is in.
Yeah, my goal would be to find both you and Ben wives, and we might be able to do it Sunday night. We'd be able to kill two birds with one stone.
That's his goal.
You're similar ages, you're both available, and I'll just be watching the whole thing. The puppet master orchestrating all the pulling all the strings.
We have to talk about another race that is happening today. Can we do that coming up?
Absolutely.
The Weenie 500.
Is that today?
Yes, it is today. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 317-516-6861 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. 317-516-6861 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 317-516-6861 for fast, easy, affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 317-516-6861.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
If this is the year to build your custom dream home, Joyner Homes is ready to help make your dream come true. They offer the flexibility to build on your own lot, allowing you to build a home in the place you've always envisioned. A dedicated in-house team of experts will guide you through every step, offering unmatched personalization and flexibility. Joyner Homes provides clear and upfront pricing and floor plans to inspire you. There's no time like the present to get in touch with Joyner Homes to talk about your vision and learn more about their building process. Visit JoynerHomes.com.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
This May, you can be a hero at the finish line. Say yes to organ donation and talk to your family about your decision. A message from Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives.
It's JMV. The Memorial Day sale is on at Miss M's Home and Garden in Bargersville. 20% off contender trees and shrubs and 30% off pottery. State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road.
Need air conditioning service and want to work with a local company you can trust like B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical? Find that independent American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
It's rattled the stock market. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A new Trump tariff threat targeting the European Union, which has sent the Dow down nearly 400 points. The president posted on Truth Social that the EU has been very difficult to deal with in trade talks, so he's recommending a 50% tariff on EU imports starting June 1st. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just told Fox.
I believe the president believes that the EU proposals have not been of the same quality that we've seen from our other important trading partners.
Well, the president also posted another tariff threat targeting Apple days after meeting with the CEO Tim Cook at the White House.
President Trump says on Truth Social that Apple should face a tariff of 25% for iPhones not made in the United States.
Fox's Ginny Casola. The president also posted this morning about a prisoner swap between Russia and Ukraine, writing this could lead to something big as he pushes for a ceasefire to stop the war. The exchange involves about 1,000 prisoners. The Trump administration has hit Harvard again, accusing the university of allowing anti-Semitism to thrive on campus. It's now blocking the enrollment of international students.
Harvard is fighting back. In an open letter, the university president, Alan Garber, said that they're seeking a temporary restraining order to immediately reverse the Trump administration's move here.
Fox's Molly Line in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Harvard's also filed suit trying to unfreeze federal grant money. The accused gunman who chanted Free Palestine when arrested after a deadly shooting Wednesday night at the Capitol Jewish Museum, Elias Rodriguez, is now charged with murder.
Police say there could be more charges coming as they continue to investigate what they call a targeted attack of anti-Semitism.
Fox's Madeline Rivera outside the museum.
Court papers present this shooting as calculated. Surveillance video showed Rodriguez shooting the victims, 26-year-old Sarah Milgram and 30-year-old Yaron Lashinsky, both staffers for the Israeli embassy. They were set to be engaged. As Milgram tried to crawl away, Rodriguez approached her and fired at her again, emptying out more than 20 rounds in total in the attack.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The chances of rain dropping. Sunny and 56 this hour. Good conditions for Carb Day. 67 will be the high today. I'm Jarrett Lewis for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Rain probably won't happen during the Indy 500 on Sunday.
Any rain chances are going to be well to the south towards southern and southwestern Indiana. We'll see some increasing clouds, but during the afternoon, but overall, a perfect day.
That's according to forecaster Cody Moore with the National Weather Service, who says today's Carb Day will stay dry, with the next chance of rain not coming till Monday. Speaking of Carb Day, that's going on now at IMS. It also means teams get one final practice session, which gets underway at 11. Alex Palou is starting 6th and hoping to stay hot this season.
The 500, it's a different animal. Like, I think it feels like it's outside of the championship. A lot more activities that we do for the 500, so it just feels like a race on its own.
Robert Schwartzman will start on the pole along with Takuma Sato and Padua Ward on the front row. The green flag flies at 12:45 Eastern Sunday. The IMS Museum says it's building a new facility in Speedway dedicated to car restoration and showcasing. Construction on the 60,000 square foot space will begin this summer. Museum President Joe Hale, speaking with Indiana Business Insider, says the facility will also include a focus for students looking to get started in the auto industry.
There are lucrative careers being created right here in Indianapolis in the motorsports industry. If they take the right math and science classes, they'll qualify for some of those apprenticeships and they can go right into them. So they're real opportunities.
The building will be finished in late 2026. In other news, more charges filed against a former teacher. Johnette Cruz has more.
There's new developments in a case involving a former Martinsville substitute teacher. Brittany Fortenberry now faces a staggering total of 41 charges after prosecutors added a dozen more, including incest and child molesting. The latest charge details severe allegations of sexual abuse against 2 additional minors. Fortenberry is already accused of sexually abusing students, providing them with drugs, and forcing them to watch sexual activities. Fortenberry remains in the Morgan County Jail awaiting trial. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Fever getting the win last night, 81-76 over the Atlanta Dream, and the Pacers are taking on the Knicks in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight with an 8 o'clock tip-off. Indiana trying to take a 2-0 series lead back here to Indianapolis. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Summer's here, so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you're going to be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during these hot days of summer. Beat the heat and keep the AC in your home with Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free during their big, awesome semi-annual sale, and a free entry door when you purchase a house of windows. Plus, no money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. Get this deal, lock it in right now, but you have to say Hammer and Nigel sent you. You don't get the deal unless you say Hammer and Nigel sent you. The big semi-annual sale from Window Nation. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free, a free entry door when you purchase a house of windows. You don't pay anything until 2027. Schedule that free estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Oh, is it my turn to talk?
Yeah, this is when you go.
Well, yeah, and I was trying to figure out how to get into this segment because people get mad anytime we say anything remotely critical of Trump. But, and I struggle with this because, what? John Schmitz is on the news there, and they just listed him as husband and model. What thing has John Schmitz ever modeled? Not to say John Schmitz looks like Buddy Hackett, but, oh, those shoes. So John Schmitz is a local, what would we call John Schmitz?
He's run for office.
He's a local, he's run for office a lot of times. Never winning, often running.
He's a pundit.
Heck of a nice guy, but never winning. But for some reason, he's on the local newscast here. And I guess it's those shoes. Maybe he is modeling the shoes. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, that blew my mind at that description. They call John Schmitz husband and model.
It's like Indy 500 fashion.
As though he's Fabio up
Maybe
there.
they mean model because he's modeling today.
Oh, that would make sense. I was like, what? What? Is there some magazine from the 70s that I'm unaware of?
Hey, he could have done a spread in a J.C. Penney catalog years ago that you don't know about.
I'm glad you added the J.C. Penney catalog. Okay, it's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. We got to talk about Trump and this article about how people are cutting back on the spending. And I always struggle with talking about Trump because, again, and some guy sent me a message last night who it was half English, half hieroglyphics, half, I don't know, Sudanese. I don't know what it was. But it was like the mind of a human being that's like, okay, I'm not connected to you on social media. Clearly, you must listen to this program, which is great. Thank you. But you're going to send some enraged message to a radio guy you don't know, and you're mad that it's like the guy that got mad last hour about us pointing out that Lucas Oil Stadium was funded by massive tax increases. This guy got mad because we mentioned that the spending bill has $20 trillion of new debt, and he kept pressing me on, like, how do you know that? And I finally said, bro, the people who voted for the bill were lamenting the bill because it added $20 trillion. If it doesn't do that, take it up with them, not with me. They're the ones who are saying it. Because, and we'll get into this later on in the program, I'm at the point where I think just not voting may be the answer to all of this. It's like you can't say anything remotely critical of Trump, no matter how obvious the information you're relaying is. People just lose their minds. And what I finally told this guy is I said, you can be critical of Trump, and I promise you, you will not combust or melt. You are capable of saying, hey, a lot of this stuff is good. However, this thing over here, not so good. And in the case of Trump, I can say I think he's doing a nice job on the border, especially given the legal restrictions that have been placed on him by activist judges et al. And I think he's doing a nice job trying to secure peace across the globe. I can point those things out and then also say, economically, this doesn't appear to be working all that great, and people will just not accept that.
Well, he's also reignited some tariff talk. So he has issued 2 threats, I guess we can call them. One is a 25% import tax on Apple if they don't manufacture iPhones in the United States. The other is a 50% tariff on the European Union, which would be effective June 1st. He said the European Union has been difficult to deal with, and our discussions with them are going nowhere.
Okay, But let's go to the article.
Mhm.
There's an article, right, that is talking about how Trump's economic policies have affected their spending habits.
So 54% of Americans say they plan to cut back on non-essential spending. This includes entertainment, travel, dining out, and that's up from last year. And many people are citing tariffs under President Trump. That's raised their fears of a potential recession.
Okay, so now are we bad people? Because just like yesterday, all we did was say, this bill is adding $20 trillion to our nation's debt. The people who are voting for it are admitting it's doing that.
82%, by the way. They say 82% of voters are worried about a recession.
Okay. And that, like, people will get mad at us for pointing out these are facts. These are hard facts. We are $37 trillion in debt. This bill will add $20 trillion to the nation's debt. That will put us $57 trillion in debt at the end of 10 years. Inflation spending is a major cause. It's not the only cause, but it is a major cause, primary cause, whatever, of inflation. Why are you mad at me for pointing out statistically obvious, indisputable things? Because what? Anything other than absolutism with Trump? You're somehow some Marxist, leftist, whatever. I don't know. But then we're going to talk about this article, and somebody's going to be mad that we did that, which we're reporting the news to you. This is what people are saying. This is what people are feeling. This is how what's going on is affecting how people are living their lives. But on both sides of the aisle, we have so dug in that we can't even give you factual information without people losing their mind one way or another.
So this was a survey that was done by Bankrate, and they say 38% of people expect to reduce their travel spending, and 39% plan to cut back on dining out and entertainment. And they noted that there's a decline in the YOLO mentality.
Yes.
You only live once. They're finally seeing a limit to the urge to splurge. There was a lot of doom spending that was going on.
COVID stuff,
right after COVID. And now, according to this survey, people have moved on from that, and they're not interested in doom spending or you only live once spending, and now they're in the saving mode. And part of that is also because the U.S. household debt has hit a record $8.2 trillion. $18.2 trillion.
Economies are as much about feel as they are fact. It's just like playing well in a sports game. Pick your favorite athlete. Momentum, right? Why do teams score in bunches? Why did the Pacers score in bunches? Why did the Knicks score? You watch that game. Why does the crowd plays a big role in it? You can go from 3 minutes with nothing, and then some guy makes a shot, and the crowd kicks up, and all of a sudden they score a bunch of points. Momentum, feel is a big part of sports. It's also a huge part of the economy. And what people are telling in the polling data, and it's being supported by backed up by economic realities, is they are not buying in psychologically to what Trump is doing on the economic front.
Well, part of it is not that they're just not buying into it. They can see it in black and white because we have record credit card debt right now. Now, you're right. Part of that is the feel of it. There is low consumer confidence. But when 65% of people are saying they can't afford discretionary expenses, well, those are real hard numbers. There's also the side of 16% are saying travel is too much of a hassle.
We've got to talk to Nikki Kelly next because she's got a fascinating. One of the many reasons we are number one is we make the government simple, unlike anybody else. And for years and years and years, I've heard so many things that are crazy about the Hoosier Lottery and about how it works, that is wrong. People are uninformed, misinformed about where the money goes or where it was supposed to go. And there was an article in the Indiana Capital Chronicle about some updates with the Hoosier Lottery, about the company that runs the lottery, about how much money's coming in. And I said, look, few people understand the history of modern history of state government better than Nikki Kelly, and obviously Capital Chronicle ran this article on the update. So when we come back, we're going to give you the opportunity to be the superstar of your gatherings this weekend, where you will be fully versed in the Hoosier Lottery.
Where does the money go?
Past, present, and future, unlike anybody else. But then when we come back, after we get done talking to Nikki Kelly, I want to talk about a conversation I had yesterday with a very connected political person about why politicians will not stop the spending.
All right. Nikki Kelly from Indiana Capital Chronicle is going to join us next. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
A good old-fashioned, God-fearing chopper presser, Nige. And for those who don't know what a chopper presser is, this is where Marine One is blaring in the background, and he's talking to the press, and they're all lined up, and nobody can hear anything.
You have to talk up. We have a helicopter. What'd you say? I don't hear you. What? Competing with a helicopter. Say it. Say it.
Hammer and Nigel. Weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Spring is here, and Damon's is full speed ahead with endless plant production of perennials, annuals, hanging baskets, roses, and planters. Trucks are arriving with fresh trees and shrubs. Damon's friendly staff is ready to assist you and get you the help you need. So for any of your gardening needs, experience Damon's South on Emerson Avenue and Damon's West on Rockville Road.
Damon's Lawn and Garden, Indiana's most complete garden center.
Hey, it's Marco Andretti. When you hit the pump, make a better choice for your wallet and the environment. Fuel up with an Indiana Corn ethanol blend. Unleaded 88 contains up to 15% ethanol and can be used in virtually every car, while that yellow cap or Flex Fuel logo means you can grab the E85 pump. No matter which one you choose, you are lowering the greenhouse gas emissions and your bill to fill. So next time you get to empty, choose an ethanol blend for your refill. Find a station at incornandsoy.org/ethanol. This message is brought to you by Indiana's corn farmers and their checkoff.
At Hendricks, your cancer care is in the details.
You have questions, and our dedicated clinicians and expert oncologists will answer them.
You have hills to climb, and we are going to climb them.
You have dreams, and we're here to help you chase them. You have cancer, and you have all the expertise,
The determination, and the kindness of the entire Hendricks team.
backed by Mayo Clinic expertise.
It's not just cancer care.
It's Teresa Care. Visit hendricks.org/cancer.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Pat Sullivan here with exciting news from my friends at Hope Plumbing, now known as Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hope now offers plumbing, heating, and air conditioning services, bringing total comfort to your home. No more dealing with multiple home service memberships. For only $8 a month, Hope is now your one-stop for safety and maintenance inspections and so much more. Make sure you're prepared for those Indiana summer heat waves with an AC tune-up by calling Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today at 641-HOPE.
This May, be a hero at the finish line. Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives remind you to say yes to organ donation the next time you're at the BMV.
The blood moon shines across the veil. Bells ring out through churches and jails. I tally my wounds and count the scars. Here in the house of 1,000 guitars.
Casey, let's educate our audience today.
That's something that we do pretty well. Well, you do anyway.
It is the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. And there was an interesting article in the Indiana Capital Chronicle about some updates with the Hoosier Lottery and how they are contributing back to the state of Indiana. And I hear all the time from people, well, I thought the lottery was supposed to pay for this, and I thought the lottery was supposed to pay for that. And I thought, well, with these updates with the Hoosier Lottery, not only would it be a good opportunity to talk about what these are and how much money's coming into the state, but also how the lottery actually works, where the money's going.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
That way, when you go to your parties this weekend, you'll be the belle of the ball because you'll be able to educate your fellow guests on how the Hoosier Lottery
I can
works.
hear it now as you're standing by the grill. Hey, are you aware how the Hoosier Lottery works? I mean, this is riveting stuff.
Well, actually, all right. So each week we turn to one of the best in the business. Her name is Nikki Kelly. She's the head honcho over there at the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Nikki Kelly, hello.
Good morning, guys.
What is your actual title? It's not head honcho, is it?
Editor-in-chief.
Very
but I like
good.
head honcho better.
All right. So you guys had this interesting article about the Hoosier Lottery, and the title is Hoosier Lottery Adjusts Forecast, Approves Cautious Business Plan for Next Year. So before we get into that, can you explain to people how the lottery works, how they interact with the state? Because they're run they're run separate from the state, yet they work in coordination with the state, right?
Yeah, it's a little crazy. The Hoosier Lottery itself is what we call a quasi-public agency. It's like kind of public, kind of not, and they want some distance. And then what happened, like under Mitch Daniels, was he wanted to, quote, privatize the lottery, and there are limits on how much you can privatize the lottery. So what they did is they basically have a contract with IGT Indiana. It's their public-private partner, and they run the games. They do all the advertising, the marketing, the actual choosing the games and all that. They don't do the payouts because that has to be done by a state entity. So there are sort of limits. And then IGT comes to them every year and says, okay, here's our business plan for the next year, and here's how much money we think we're going to bring in, and that kind of thing. So that's the basic laydown of how it works.
Okay, so basically the state contracts a separate company to do the lottery, to run it, to come up with all the ideas, and then the state essentially is able to approve all of what they do as an oversight board, for lack of a better term.
Correct. And then when they come to them with this business plan, they say, we think we're going to bring in this amount of revenue. Here's what our expenses will be. And then there's this thing called the surplus fund. Basically, they're trying to hit a certain amount of money that then will go straight to the state. And then we'll talk about what that's used for. And if they hit it, they get a bonus. If they don't, they have to pay a shortfall to the state. I think they've only paid the shortfall once or twice. They usually hit the bonus. This week's meeting was basically that things are going a little slower than they expected. The economy obviously has been a little volatile recently, and when people have less or worry that they're going to have less discretionary money, obviously lottery is not something they will, make sure that they can continue playing. And so they downgraded the forecast a little, not terribly, but just they're being cautious. And basically they made some comments about it. They'd really like to do this online gaming that the legislature did not approve last year. I think they think, look, we're a mature lottery. We're 30 plus years old, and yet we're doing the same exact thing we always did, and we're going to have to sort of expand and modernize at some point. Nikki Kelly is our guest. Casey's going to hop in here in just a second. Nikki, is kind of a special deal with her this week that she's explaining how the Hoosier Lottery works. There was a big article in the Capital Chronicle about updates to the lottery, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to explain to people how the lottery works. So real quick before I hand it over to Casey, just to make sure I understand that correctly. So each year they come to the state and this private company come up with an agreement of how much money they should be able to give to the state, make, for lack of a better term, off the lottery. If they go above that, then they start splitting money. That's how they make money. If it's below that, they got to give the state money, so the state gets some sort of guarantee. Yep. Perfect.
Do you think that they sandbag or undercut their business plans so that they make sure that they have enough?
Gosh, I don't think so. Like I said, they have been hit by some shortfall payments a couple times. And this one, they're still going to hit the what they call the minimum net income or provider net income, but they're going to hit it less than they thought, and so they don't get the full $15 million bonus. They now have to split that with the state. So it does cost them money when they don't hit it.
Yeah. After 35 years, I would think that they would have a pretty good idea of where they're going to fall. Is the State Lottery Commission, are those people appointed?
Yep, appointed by the governor, and they meet, I think, 4 times a year, and, they approve the games that the IGT Indiana comes to them with and says, here's what we're going to focus on, or that kind of stuff. So.
All right, so the big question is, how much money do they regularly bring in? And you guys did a fabulous job in this article of laying all this out over at IndianaCapitalChronicle.com. How much do they bring in? Where's the money go?
Yeah, the big thing is before we did this private partnership, they brought in maybe $200 million a year that would go into the state general fund or the surplus lottery fund. But now they've been more in the $350 million a year range in the last decade. So I mean, there has definitely been an improvement having a lottery-specific entity run a lot of the parts of it. And the where does it go is real complicated. I was not here when the lottery was approved, but more than anything in the world, I hear it was supposed to go to education. It was supposed to go to education. I didn't live here then, but it was never going to education, guys. It was never in the law. It was never in the constitutional amendment that Hoosiers voted on to legalize the lottery. I think it was maybe brought up a couple times in discussion of the bill beforehand, but it was never in any bill. So it's like fascinating to me how much people have seen that, even though it was never happening.
Do we know where was there anywhere it was supposed to go? Was it supposed to pay off a certain pension fund? Was there anywhere that it was delegated to?
Absolutely. And so the way it works is right off the top, there's a certain payment, it's like 30 or 50 million that goes to the teacher's retirement fund, because that's an unfunded pension liability, though we're getting close to, being funded on that. Then there's also some police and firefighter funds that right off the top it goes. Then we have this, whatever's left after those two payments go to this surplus fund. The vast majority of that goes to reduce your license plate taxes, your excise taxes.
Wait. As high as they are, you're telling me they would be even higher without the lottery?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, man.
For the privilege of driving on these wonderful roads.
To pay the gas tax.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so one more thing on this that I wanted to bring up, which was you kind of brought it to the here and now, which was the lottery really wanted iGaming. The state said no. The lottery was kind of like, well, it would have brought you in more money. Any idea why they killed the iGaming? They were obviously short on revenue this year.
They were, I think, well, you can't give iGaming to the lottery without giving it to the casinos. And so that was the casinos wanted it for themselves too. And then I think it just scared a lot of lawmakers, the fact that, think about the little games you're addicted to on your phone. I'm sure we all have one that we're addicted to on our phone. And now imagine that every time you play that, every time you click it, it's 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, or, whatever you're betting. I mean, it would literally be, that's what iGaming would be. And the lottery would have the same. And so I think the expansion scared people a bit. And so, it passed out of the committee very strongly, and then we just never saw it again.
Yeah, I go through this every day, Nikki. I'm addicted to reading the Indiana Capitol Chronicle, so I totally understand that.
You should get 50 cents every time you read the Indiana Capitol Chronicle.
Seriously, you guys are some of the best in the business. Everybody should read it, bookmark it, get over there. IndianaCapitolChronicle.com is the address. Nikki Kelly, this is a phenomenal job you did this week explaining the history of the lottery, how it works. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable. But a simple in-office solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple in-office procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at AdventKnows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
High school sports ignite pride unlike anything else. Just listen to these student athletes from across the great state of Indiana.
Playing high school sports means representing my school and community, being a positive example, showing everyone what we stand for.
It's a reminder that the name on the front of my jersey is just as important as the name on the back.
Because it's about all of us, not just one of us.
And that includes our families, friends, and the fans.
When we all wear our school's name,
we are all on the same team.
We all represent our school.
We all belong to our community, thanks to high school sports.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. You can be a champion of high school sports by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is building community pride. This is bringing everyone together as one team. This is your IHSAA.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Possibly facing more charges. It's sunny, 55 in downtown Indianapolis. The high today, 67. I'm Jarrett Lewis for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:30. More charges could be coming for the Chicago man accused of killing 2 Israeli embassy staffers in D.C. Fox's Madeline Rivera has more from outside the Capitol Jewish Museum.
31-year-old Elias Rodriguez is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder along with firearm charges. Court papers present this shooting as calculated. Authorities say Rodriguez flew to D.C. from Chicago on May 20th with a gun. He told police he had bought a ticket for the event at the Capitol Jewish Museum 3 hours before it began. Surveillance video showed Rodriguez shooting the victims, 26-year-old Sarah Milgram and 30-year-old Yaron Lashinsky, both staffers for the Israeli embassy. They were set to be engaged.
Elias Rodriguez waived his right to a detention hearing. He could face the death penalty if convicted. Markets on Wall Street and in Europe falling rapidly after President Donald Trump posted a pair of tariff threats to social media, one of them aimed at Apple, the other at the European Union. Speaking on Fox's America's Newsroom, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent defended his boss's move.
A large part of Apple's components are in semiconductors, so we would like to have Apple help us.
The president is now seeking to put 50% tariffs on the EU and 25% tariffs on Apple. This comes after the president walked back his last round of tariffs. Airports are bracing for a record number of travelers this Memorial Day weekend. AAA is reporting that around 45 million Americans in total will be traveling at least 50 miles this holiday weekend. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
We are about to talk about how out of control AI is, but one thing that is real is our friend Mark Dietl. Home sales activity is good, not great. So many homes, if improperly marketed, are sitting on the market. Hiring the wrong sales agent will cost you time and money. Hire the expert, who is real and who maximizes equity and sells fast. That expert realtor, the aforementioned, a good friend, Mark Dietl. Maybe you want a fast, guaranteed, no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. This is what John in Greencastle had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I just bought a home in Greencastle shortly after my son moved to Fishers, which left me an hour away from family and 45 minutes from work. A big mistake, and I felt stuck since I had been in the home less than a year. I asked Mark Dietl for help, and his team delivered big. My home sold in 14 days for the price I needed so I could move closer to family and work. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call the very real Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. It's Mark, Dietel.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Heat and cool your man cave, attic, garage, or bonus room without adding ductwork with Mitsubishi Electric ductless mini splits.
To find out more, just go to absolutecomfort.org.
The Attorney General's Office, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every week. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov or text Tony Katz to 46220 today.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
All my friends. Oh, you gotta help me with this.
Okay.
Because I don't have any idea anymore. I'm officially an old person and out of trying to figure it all out. And is this person real or are they not real? What is even going on with this thing that I sent you?
Okay, so the thing that you sent me is a woman, and she's in a gym. She's in workout attire. She's very attractive, and she says...
she's well assembled.
We
don't notice people's appearances,
That's
but we
right.
do notice how they were put together in the factory.
She's well assembled.
That's right, thank you.
The factory being artificial intelligence. But she says, I'm going to go drink I'm thirsty, I need some water. And she goes to a fountain and drinks some water. Now, the caption on this says that this woman is completely AI generated, and the random guy who created her is selling her content online and making thousands of dollars.
Okay, so pause for a second, because here's so for a while, I've got the 2010 vision.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few people. I can say this I would pass the lie detector test if you're also well assembled relative were to hook me up to the lie detector, and I would pass if I were to say I am in the tippy top upper echelon of vision in this country. I can make it to the bottom of the eye chart, whatever. I used to be able to spot the AI pretty easily when other people could not. I look at this and I no longer can tell. Like I tried to find, I'm looking at it closely, not because of her assemblage, but I was trying to do it for the premise of this #1 rated radio show to see if I could spot something that would show to me, okay, this is clearly artificial intelligence. Kev, I also put you to the task of this. Could you spot anything that would tell you that is an artificial intelligence creation of some sort?
No, as far as I could see, there was no visible signs of it being AI.
It's full body. She's walking away. She's talking.
She walks through a door. She pushes the door open.
Now, you were telling me, though, that what we're not sure about is whether she's real and inserted into the surroundings, and that's the artificial intelligence. You said that's a new thing now that Google has?
Okay, so Google just launched what's called VO3, and it's really blurring the lines between real and synthetic media. There's so many different things that can be done with this Google DeepMind VO3. They can generate dialogue, soundtracks, sound effects. I can take on my phone right now a video of you, Rob, and then with layers put you in Paris, France, and you would not be able to tell the difference.
It's like a green screen.
There's also the ability.
Wait.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
So people in the television world, the green screen is the thing they put behind people.
Right. The chroma key, right?
That makes you when you watch the weather.
Yeah.
There's not actually a giant weather map behind them. It's a green screen, and something's on there, and they're looking at a screen and they're pointing to it. Right? So it's a glorified green screen.
Correct. But it's taken to the next level because now I can take a video of you and put you in Paris, France, with 500 other people around you and a gorilla. And it looks real. It's like real world physics. You can maintain scene continuity, and it generates these other humans with accurate features like all 5 fingers. Whereas before you could say, well, that she's got 2 arms. That's clearly fake. Now with this new software, you can't tell the difference. And so whether she is completely AI or I can't tell because
I think she's
they've launched
real.
this new software where she could be real, put in a scene, or she is completely fake.
Okay. So there's a lot of red flags with this. But I turn to Kevin and I ask you, how could you possibly even meet people at this point? How do you even know you're interacting with an actual human? Like, how would you even?
You just got to go back to the old days of meeting people in person.
But how do you do that now? Because we have ingrained, and this is the
You
conversation.
don't know if you're being catfished.
Well, this is the conversation we had yesterday, which was there's so little in person, which is why I am taking this is why on Sunday for the Pacers game, Ben Verbanek, the most beautiful man in all of Terre Haute news, and I think Kevin is going to join us. We're gonna head downtown for the Pacer game, crush a few brews, watch the game at probably my favorite establishment, and try to get these two lads who are very charming, available bachelors to meet people in person. Because, Kev, you guys are close in age, and I just feel like we have gutted the ability to meet people in person. And so with me overseeing the operation, I think you both may walk out of there with wives at the end of the ball game Sunday night. But this is the thing, right? Nobody's meeting anybody in person.
I still meet people in person.
So this new Google Veo 3, which they've launched.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I have no idea how it works now. How would you be able to flush out online if you saw that, right? Because it used to be, I don't mean to sound like an old guy yelling at clouds, but you used to be able to be like, if you thought somebody was not on the up and up, you used to be able to say, send me a video of yourself. Send me, whatever. Now,
can't do it with AI.
I don't know how do you even vet anymore? How do you even?
You can't even say, send me a picture with today's newspaper, because that could be faked.
They can do that.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that is the scary thing about all of this AI and what's going on with you've seen plenty of videos of Donald Trump, right? And he's with a little cats and dogs, and they're in ammo, they got the ammo or the military garb, and you can tell that's AI generated. They look somewhat cartoonish.
Right.
Now we're to the point you're not going to be able to tell. You will not be able to tell. And somebody put it to the test, and they made a depression medication commercial for $500 because you got to buy credits on this software for the work parts. And what used to take $500,000 to make, they made it for $500. The film industry is panicking. And this is even why Pope Leo XIV has said that AI is posing challenges for the human race.
Can you share that link that I sent you at Casey Daniels 317 on Twitter? Some people wanted to see it. If I share it, my wife will ask, why are you...
I cannot share this. You want me to share it?
It's kind of revealing.
She's not naked. She's in the gym. There's nothing she is totally dressed exactly like. Just say this is the link we were discussing for our show. If I do it, my wife will ask, why are you sharing this? You don't have that pressure. You don't have a wife that's going to be asking, why are you sharing some well-assembled potential AI bot in a gym?
Okay.
And it'll get you hits on Twitter at Casey Daniels 317.
Oh,
That's
sure.
true.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put it up there, but it does call into question different things like, I don't know, human dignity.
Well, I just need to know if she's real or not. This is my first question. Is she real and she's been implanted into this? This is why you need to share it and investigate this and let me know. Because again, if I Google search it, cybersecurity Sally at my house, it'll be a big deal. But if you do it, then it'll just be research for the show.
It says that it's AI. It could be, because I went into the software program last night to try and learn how to use it. And these VO3 videos, they're so realistic that most people can't distinguish between human-made content or actual humans.
Oh, but you're saying in this Google stuff, you can also make non-human stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you could make animals that look like real animals.
Again, this is why I go home and I sit by myself.
If
you know who I can harm, who I get fooled by AI with sent by yourself? Nobody.
If you can't
Robert Stack
touch
on the Unsolved Mystery reruns is Robert Stack. I watched it when I was a kid. Chris Hansen on the To Catch a Predator videos is Chris Hansen. I watched him when I was in my 20s. That's why I watch old stuff. That's why I deal in reruns. And that's why I hang out by myself. AI's not getting me, buddy.
It does really blur the line between real and synthetic, right? Like, if you're questioning if someone's real, you need to be able to physically, by yourself, pinch them.
And to Kathleen in the YouTube chat, don't take everything we say here so seriously. Don't take it all so seriously. We're having a little bit of fun here, too.
Hammer's going to join us next. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, it seems that the Supreme Court will let Donald Trump actually do president things. Well, not all the things, but some of them. After the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
I'm a proud owner of B-Window.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
When you work with a local, employee-owned home improvement company like B-Window, quality comes first because your home improvements are a reflection of our business. And for a limited time, we're extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust local, trust employee-owned, trust your home to be.
Trust me. Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church, and Life Church would like to invite you and your kids to Vacation Bible School at Life Church, which runs at all 4 of their Central Indiana locations, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, from June 9th through the 13th. You can learn all about it and register today at lifechurchin.com, lifechurchin.com.
Health gives you the ability to love more, feel more, be more. Health gives you the ability to live an extraordinary life. Because every day, no matter the challenges, is a chance to breathe, laugh until your belly aches, cry because you care so much, and experience everything that makes your life truly extraordinary. For 150 years, Franciscan Health has been there, watching extraordinary lives unfold. Love your extraordinary life.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Hendricks County Fairgrounds in Danville. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Hendricks County Fairgrounds in Danville. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com. Spring is here, and Dammons is full speed ahead with endless plant production of perennials, annuals, hanging baskets, roses, and planters. Trucks are arriving with fresh trees and shrubs. Dammons' friendly staff is ready to assist you and get you the help you need. So for any of your gardening needs, experience Dammons South on Emerson Avenue and Dammons West on Rockville Road.
Dammons Lawn and Garden, Indiana's most complete garden center.
As an IT professional, you have the opportunity to guarantee your data security, participate in 100% landfill-free disposal, and have peace of mind with R2 V3 certifications. Technology Recyclers provides guaranteed complete data destruction, 100% landfill-free disposal, and the certification to back it up. Protect your data while saving the planet. Receive a free pickup of your e-waste from Technology Recyclers. Visit tech-recyclers.com. That's tech-recyclers.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our Rhino Shield has been on for 8 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
You support them. Who supports you? Matt Baer and Ryan Hetrick provide insight, encouragement, and resources to help you navigate a loved one's recovery on the Supporting Sobriety podcast. Listen and get support wherever you get your podcasts.
Here they are.
Look at these two.
I know. amazing.
If you're on the YouTube chat, Jason Hammer, along with his lovely wife, the crazy coupon lady, Crystal, are here, and they're in matching Carb Day ensemble.
When you've begged your employer for 7+ years to send you out to Carb Day, when other shows that have less success than we do get to broadcast live every year, and we love the race, we know the race, we have a bigger audience, and we can drink those bums under the table, you are ready for your debut broadcast at Carb Day, and we are doing that today.
Now, let's point out about your wife. Hello, Crystal. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
You look so... Now, Hammer looks like a clown. He's great. He's perfect for Carb Day. He's got the beer bong with him, too, by the way.
Celebrity beer bong, jagoff.
But you, actually, with your race checkered flag attire and your hat, I told you, I don't know what Maureen Braun is wearing to the track. She's not going to look any more dignified than you are.
I just got the hat to protect my face from the sun because,
Perfect.
you know,
Crystal
that's
Hammer
very
is going to
important.
outshine everybody at Carb Day today.
And we've got the crazy coupon lady coming up at 4:35 today. Big holiday deals, your cookout meals, all that kind of stuff, whether you're into the racers or the pacers, maybe both. If you're having people
there's
over.
enough for you to do Sunday and Monday cookouts this
That's
time.
right.
Yep.
Go big or go home, baby.
Do you do the fast food coupons in your house, like the Arby's?
Sometimes, not a lot.
Pizza coupons.
We do
sometime.
pizza, definitely, because pizza's so expensive. But honestly, when it comes to fast food, we DoorDash. But I have the DoorDash pass, so I save money on it.
I knew there was some catch there. So you're going to the track today.
Correct.
You're living out your childhood dream of broadcasting from Carb Day.
Right. Taking the #1 show in the city to the track. Something that should have been done years ago.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, you know, the hip hop channel gets to go right there, be front and center in Pagoda Plaza for 7 years. I've been like Red and Shawshank begging for forgiveness here to get what I want. And they denied. And then finally, I think they just got tired of hearing me complain. They're sending Nige and I out there, and it's going to get ridiculous today.
And I just want to say I am not doing the beer bong.
Oh, you're not doing it?
No. That is a negative.
Jerry
ghostwriter.
Lopez is coming by for a beer bong.
I gave my wife your coordinates. Have her do a beer bong.
I would love that. I would love that.
Rob
Mrs.
would
Kendall
love that.
coming by.
Mrs. Kendall.
Fill it up, Gabby. Let's go. But no, we are so excited. And again, whether you're into the race or not, you might hate, racing or whatever, but the civic pride, the fact that our city is on such a spotlight right now between the race and what the Pacers are doing, let's soak this in. Let's put on a show.
You're an AI expert. You do AI stuff all the time. I showed you the video that we talked about last segment of the girl who we don't know if she's AI or not. Something about it is AI, but we don't know if the girl is or not. Could you tell? Did you know? You're an AI expert.
If I just watched it, if you said, hey, look at this girl I saw at the gym, I would have thought it was real.
Yeah.
Now, you told me it was AI before I watched it. So knowing that, I was able to pick up a little bit on just some of the movements, a little slower than real time, but it looks real.
So you think
it's pretty
she
close.
was AI?
I need to look at it again, but and I may need to put it on the big screen here, Rob.
Sure, he needs to look at it again.
Slow it down frame by frame.
Yeah.
Right. We may need to go frame by frame, especially when she bends over at that water fountain. I want to make sure that it's real.
So
I can say that. My wife's here. She'd be looking too.
So the
She looked first, actually.
Right.
Hammer walks in and goes, Crystal, we can now put you with Bradley Cooper for real.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm all for that. Let's do that.
Now, your Bradley Cooper hangover, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because that's the best version of Bradley.
There's
Cooper.
different versions?
I think there's different versions of everybody. The best version of George Clooney is Ocean's 11 Clooney. Yeah. Like, if you look at all these people that People Magazine have said are the sexiest man alive, right? Whatever. I think Clooney, Ocean's 11, take away his lunatic politics, that is the best, like, he could be at that point.
Interesting. All right. So, can you tell us, because the new Degenerates Next Door sports betting podcast is out.
Yes, it's Indy 500 picks. I lay out 3 picks you can make, 2 kind of front runners, if you will, 2 favorites, and a long shot that, man, I think has a real good chance.
Stingray Rob, baby.
Stingray Rob and Graham Rahal, 1 and 2. We're going with the 1 and 2. And And then after that, one of our professional handicappers has action on Pacers and Knicks tonight. So check that out wherever you get your podcast, Degenerates Next Door. Rob takes a week off this week because I've been on a wild 24 hours of driving overnight.
How was the AC/DC concert?
Those old geezers still got it.
Yeah.
You see them walk on stage. Like Brian Johnson is in his mid-70s.
That's right.
Angus is 70. These dudes were animals. They were just for 2.5 hours, no breaks, all energy. Like by the end of the night, Angus looks like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He's got his white hair. He's got his shirt ripped off. He's taken off the schoolboy suit at this point, but he's just shredding and melting your face. And they sound so good.
All right, you and Crystal Onassis over there have a great day at the track.
3:06. Let the debauchery begin, baby. It's Carb Day and it's Beer Sample Friday.
Thank you, Hammers. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. The weather is hopefully starting to break. It'll get a little warmer, a lot warmer here in the coming weeks, and summer will be here before you know it. You'll want to stay cool inside your own home. That's where Universal Windows Direct comes in with their home improvement season sale. And listen to what's going on with this. First of all, 50% off your windows. That's right, half off. Then on top of that, no interest, no payments for 12 months. So let's review. 50% off. Half off your windows, no interest, no payments for 12 months. Means you get to live in your home with those windows and you don't pay a dime for one whole year. And then last, but certainly not least, a free entry door with your window purchase. Now, some restrictions may apply, so to get all the details, and most importantly, schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation in-home estimate. Call Universal Windows Direct today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. Check them out on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com.
It's the Bash Sale, the biggest automotive sale in history. Your local Bill Estes dealerships are coming in hot with deals on trucks you don't want to miss. We have a huge selection of trucks at one easy online stop. Brand new Chevy, Ford, GMC, Jeep, Ram, and Toyota trucks with a massive pre-owned selection too. Plus, our fair and direct upfront pricing means what you see is what you pay. Shift into savings during the Bash Sale, only at Bill Estes dealerships, and drive away in your dream truck today. Online at BillEstesTrucks.com.
Hey, this is Denny Smith for LD Smith Plumbing. Lance Smith joins me right now. No, we're not related, but I'd be proud to call him my son, my uncle, my cousin, whatever. Lance, welcome to the studio.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, sump pumps, they're coming up. You guys, it's probably time to get your sump pump special. You brag on this every year.
Yep, it's a real deal. Free primary sump pump with the purchase of a battery backup system. Simple as that. No hidden labor fees or anything like that. 317-927-7186 or ldsmithplumbing.com.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
This May, you can be a hero at the finish line. Say yes to organ donation and talk to your family about your decision. A message from Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, how the weather looks for Sunday's race and for today's Carb Day. What one IndyCar driver did to surprise a mom and her newborn. The additional charges heading to a former Martinsville substitute teacher. And we'll look ahead to Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks, which tips off tonight from New York City. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. Time for Fox News. It's 11 o'clock.
Is another trade war brewing? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Days after the U.S. and China lowered massive tariffs, easing their tension, President Trump is threatening new tariffs on European Union imports, 50% starting next month, posting on Truth Social they're difficult to deal with. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent tells Fox,
I'm not going to negotiate on TV, but I would hope that this would light a fire under the EU.
A French minister calls the new threat unhelpful, but still hopes to make a trade deal. That wasn't the only Trump tariff threat this morning.
The president is also warning Apple CEO Tim Cook that if iPhones sold in the U.S. are manufactured in India or anywhere besides the U.S., a 25% tariff will be paid by the company. Cook says he plans to shift iPhone manufacturing away from China as a result of high tariffs on that country.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Reactions negative on Wall Street. The Dow's down 370 points. The NASDAQ dropping 221. Harvard is going to take the Trump administration to court again after the university already sued to unfreeze federal grant money. Fox's Molly Line reports from Cambridge, Massachusetts. The new lawsuit comes
just a day after the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, announced that the Trump administration is revoking Harvard's student visa program effective immediately. And the clock is now ticking on a 72-hour timeline that Noem gave Harvard to turn over a slew of documents to earn the opportunity to regain the certification needed to enroll international students, declaring it's a privilege, not a right. Noem accused this Ivy League institution in yesterday's letter of perpetuating an unsafe campus environment that is hostile to Jewish students.
The fifth round of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks are underway today. The U.S. is demanding Iran stop enriching uranium as President Trump threatens through talks or military action that he won't let Iran make nuclear weapons. Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Sahil Leiter, tells Fox,
if Iran has a nuclear bomb, they're going to use it.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A much clearer forecast for Sunday. Sunny, 60 in downtown Indy. The high today at 67. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. If you're going to the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday, expect it to be a dry and pleasant day.
You know, it's going to be one of those days where you need to wear layers, and then you're going to be taking them off through the afternoon. So make sure you have at least a light jacket during the morning, because 49 is going to be pretty chilly, especially for this time of year. And then throughout the day, you know, take off your layers, and it'll be pretty comfortable outside.
Cody Moore from the National Weather Service says today's Carb Day will have lots of sunshine. Fans are already enjoying the day at the track.
Just hanging out with these guys, doing all sorts of drinking and eating and watching about an hour worth of practice.
Scott Traeger from Indianapolis at Carb Day. Wienermobile races get going at IMS at 2. Followed by the Pit Stop Challenge and then concerts. A newborn and a mom get a surprise visit. Jeanette Cruz has the story.
It's a special delivery with a high-speed twist. Decatur County newborn Emerson McQueen and her mom, Braylon, received an unexpected visit from IndyCar's Graham Rahal. But this wasn't about race day. Rahal delivered a $1,053 college savings gift card for baby Emerson, part of Fifth Third Bank's Gift of College for babies born on May 3rd. Mom Braylon, a labor and delivery nurse, says Emerson actually arrived early while she was on a shift. A wonderful early start for Emerson's education fund. Jeanette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Meanwhile, a former Martinsville substitute teacher is now facing a total of 41 charges stemming from disturbing allegations of sexual abuse against 2 minors. Investigators say Brittany Fortenberry sexually abused students and provided them with drugs. Fortenberry is currently in jail awaiting trial. Purdue University Fort Wayne is cutting $6 million from its operating budget by July 1st. That will eliminate 45 jobs. Chancellor Ron Esselbaumer announced the cuts in a letter to campus Thursday. The Indiana Fever able to get one back on the Atlanta Dream last night.
Colson, right elbow, has room. Passes to a cutting hole. Touch pass. Howard scores left of the rim. Oh, clinical passing by the Fever. They lead 57-54.
Natasha Howard had a big night, scoring 26 points as they beat the Dream 81-76. Caitlin Clark only putting up 11. Indiana will head back to Indy Saturday to face the New York Liberty. The Pacers are looking to go up 2-0 in the series tonight with the Knicks. Tip-off is set for 8 o'clock from Madison Square Garden. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, good morning from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm Brendan King with your 93 WIBC track update, and it's brought to you by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer. Nobody cares for you like family. Happy Carb Day from 16th in Georgetown. It's a beautiful day. Blue skies, sunshine, about 70 degrees. I don't think you could dream of a better weather situation for Carb Day. And questions to be answered, because the last time we talked to you via these updates was back on Monday. And remember, Joseph Newgarden and Will Power both posted top 10 speeds in that Monday practice, even though the day before they were pushed to the back of the grid for the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 due to the illegal modifications on those Team Penske machines. Will Newgarden and Power continue to have speed today on Carb Day? Also, from Monday, in the Fast Six, both were the Dreyer and Reinbold machines, Jack Harvey and Ryan Hunter-Ray. Do they repeat that? Brendan King, 93 WIBC.
Race fans, convention goers, and visitors of all kinds, welcome to Indianapolis, a great event-hosting city thanks to Hoosier hospitality and terrific infrastructure, like state-of-the-art stadiums, meeting spaces, and hotels, plus a world-class airport and interstates that make it easy to get around. But these buildings and roads don't just happen. They're built by men and women living here in central Indiana. Union members of Labor's Local 120 maintain and build in these roads, bridges, and highways. They're the ones you pass as you drive by the orange barrels. It's hard work, dangerous work. Yet there they are, working to make sure you have a smoother, safer ride to your event. And just like you, they'd like to get home safe too. So let's be mindful of the local workers who make the roads safe for all of us.
This is Chris Bricky, business manager of Labor's Local 120. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save lives. We're all in this together.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So I had an interesting conversation last night.
Yeah.
And I thought I would share, well, I won't share who it was with. I will share the contents of it because I think it would be very eye-opening to our audience about why we can't get the spending under control in this country at any level. So if it'd be all right, kind of a fun Friday, and we'll spend a lot of time in this hour talking about the race. But I thought this conversation, because it's something I really, really have struggled with, Casey, which is why in our country at all levels governments will not, it doesn't matter how many Republicans you elect, it doesn't matter what offices you elect them to. I mean, look at this state. You have a $44 billion budget, and they can't balance it without raising taxes. They can't do it. You look at property taxes that are totally out of control. These local governments, many of them run by all Republican communities. These local school boards claim they can't do it without referendums. Look at our federal government. The Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They're about to add $20 trillion to our nation's debt. And I really struggle with how and why this keeps happening and how we do something about it, because nothing seems to be working.
So the one big beautiful bill, some people are calling it a regressive bill, not a conservative bill. They say it favors the wealthy, hurts the middle class, and explodes the deficit. And here in Indiana, you had 7 Republicans all vote in favor of the bill. And the bill now heads to the U.S. Senate.
And so I was shooting the breeze last night with a very respected member of the Indiana political community. This person is a Republican. I will not name this person because they would be tarred and feathered and ostracized if it got out that they were. This is definitely a person I would say is a part of the establishment. By the way, these politicians still haven't learned when you flap your gums about us in and around the State House, there's a whole bunch of people you have no idea that are actually fans of ours, and it gets back to us, and that's how we know what all you people say. So be very careful. Just assume if you're talking about us to someone else, you might as well just come say it to our face. But this person and I were talking about why at all levels people will not stop spending, Republicans will not stop spending money. And I said, what is really frustrating is that it seems on a social level, the Republicans will go to the ends of the earth to fight the battles, even if they lose, and they'll keep fighting and they'll never stop. And yet there is not a fraction of that effort when it comes to fiscal matters. And he said I could use this line that he used. So we were going back and forth about this. And finally he said, they spend the money because there's no expectation of punishment if they don't stop. And he said, basically, what do you mean by that? And then he went on to say, and I thought this was a really good line, motivated voters are the real majority no matter what the issue is. No matter what the issue is, a motivated voter on the topic is the actual majority. And we have not done a good job in this state. We have not done a good job, certainly in this country, of making fiscal, I'm not even talking responsibility, I'm talking fiscal sanity. We have not done a good job of making fiscal sanity the motivated voter issue.
Well, you have people like Victoria Spartz, who runs on fiscal conservatism, and she was supportive of that bill, even though she said it still needs work. Why are you saying yes, even when you think it needs work?
And how many people did we talk about yesterday? And we read that one guy's tweet where all these Freedom Caucus people were saying the same thing. This bill sucks, but then you vote for it, as though you don't have the ability to make it unsuck or stop it from passing. And I think it comes back to what this guy was saying, which is there's no expectation of punishment, which is they don't fear bad fiscal decisions because I don't think it's too hard for people to get their head around it. Now, something like the property tax deal may be enough to motivate people. I don't know. We'll have to see who runs next year and how that unifies. But the property tax deal is just one of 7,000 different examples of fiscal irresponsibility, bad tax policy, irresponsible spending in our government here in this state alone with all of these supermajorities. Oh, and by the way, you may be mad about the property tax issue, but the politicians will say, and this comes back to there's no expectation of punishment, who you can take it out on. We're saying it's the school board. School board's saying it's us. Braun's saying it's everybody but him. Are you going to take everybody out? Are you going to? It's easy to unify. It's easier in a local level to unify around an election. You got to vote Fred out. He's doing a horrible job on the city council, and he's the reason the taxes went up. Or Marvin was totally out of line at that school board meeting and showed total disdain for the taxpayers. We got to get him out. Are you going to motivate a unified voting bloc to get your U.S. rep out and your state rep out and your state senator out and your school board out and your city council, all of which who are causing these problems? They're all equally to blame in terms of why we're in the position we're in. But until there's an expectation of punishment, which is such a great line, until the lawmakers at all levels start hearing fiscal sanity as the number one issue, and you will punish them for lack of obedience on that, they will just keep doing what they're doing because they believe there's too many of them and you can't get us all.
Okay, well, in the example of Victoria Spartz, she said that she voted yes simply because she wanted to move the legislation forward, even though she thinks it still needs work. So if you think it needs work, why are you voting yes just to move it forward? Is that because you think the Senate is going to do something to make it better? You're passing it on to them? That's exactly what we saw here in Indiana in regards to the property tax bill.
Bingo, Casey.
The Senate gutted it, and they said, but we're just going to move along so that the House can take care of it. And then when they're not afraid of punishment, what are you going to do? You're going to vote for somebody who think is going to fight for you. The entire time Mike Braun campaigned, he said, I heard it all over the state. Number one priority, Senate Bill 1. And then when he got there and the time came to do something, what happened?
Right. He stabbed everybody in the back.
Correct.
Yeah.
So even if you vote them all out and bring in new people, they get there and they still let you down.
Yeah, and when you take someone like Victoria Spartz, how many times has she done this? How many times has she barked and screamed and everything else, and then it comes time to do something about it, which, by the way, one vote would have made all the difference.
Correct.
No, none of these people who voted for it can say, well, it wouldn't have made any difference. They absolutely would have been the difference maker.
And just like Stutzman, time and time again, I'm going to be conservative. I'm going to do it. And then he gets there, and it's a totally different tune.
Yeah, so do you want to take a break and talk about voting, or you want to talk about it now? What do you want to do? Let's take a break, because let's talk about voting, because I am at a point now, and I've never been this way in my entire life. I never thought I would be this way. I have always been the you've got to vote because people died for the right to you to vote person. I'm at the point now where I don't see any point in even voting.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
The pothole. Formed in colder months, tiny fissures are born, and in no time at all, they grow into big, gigantic tire killers. That's why you need Matt Baird Traffic.
Watch out on Keystone Avenue.
He'll guide you around these hidden monsters.
Yeah, might as well call it a basement.
And on to safer ground.
You don't want to be in the far left lane.
Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
This Memorial Day, we take a moment to remember the brave men and women who gave their lives for our country, so we can live free. I'm Jeff Jr., CEO of Trajan Wealth and a Marine Corps veteran. My wife Brenda and I both served, and we actually met on a blind date at Camp Lejeune. Serving our country was an honor, but Memorial Day reminds us of those who gave everything. To the families who carry that loss, you have our deepest respect. To veterans, first responders, and the loved ones who support them, we salute you. As you enjoy the day with friends and family, we hope you'll also pause to reflect on the meaning behind it. If there's ever anything we at Trajan Wealth can do to support those of you who share our values, it would be our honor and privilege to help. Visit TrajanWealth.com to learn more. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
This May, be a hero at the finish line. Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives reminds you to say yes to organ donation the next time you're at the BMV.
Hey guys, it's Rob for my friends at We Grow Hair Indy. You know the Indy 500 is coming up. Lots of hats out there. For me, I say why wear a hat when I have hair, thanks to my friends at We Grow Hair Indy. Call my friends at We Grow Hair Indy for your free evaluation today at 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com to see how other people have been able to ditch their hats and get their confidence back with a brand new head of hair. Get your hairline back, whether it's multi-unit hair grafting or their Artist Robotic FUE. We Grow Hair Indy has every proven solution to restore your hair. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com right now to get a free evaluation. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call today, 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. And tell them Rob sent you. I think I'm at the point right now, I may just be done voting, Casey.
You're what, disenchanted with the results?
Well, like, because we played that Elon Musk, by the way, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob, that's Casey.
Mm-hmm.
We played that Elon Musk clip the other day where he basically said,
I'm done.
I'm cutting off the spigot.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go into detail on it, but you can tell he's pretty hot about this spending bill, about how Doge was kind of treated.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, why did I do all of this?
Right.
And we laughed. I said, look, my old man and I were talking about this the other day. I said, I 100% get how he's feeling, minus I didn't lose a half a bill.
Right, exactly.
I just lost time and my dignity with the people I supported this last time being lied to. He did that, and on top of that, lost $500 million or whatever it was. So it made me feel a little bit better about it. And this is where I am where he is, which is I've been voting for 22, 23 years, whatever it's been now. I've voted in every single election I think I was eligible to vote in, local elections, state elections. I voted in all of them. I have been actively involved in politics at a local and state level for 15 years. I have advocated, I have tried, I have done the things, and nothing ever changes.
Yeah.
And this last election was it for me because I went all in for these people who all said the right things, who all pledged to do the right things, and then universally, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, let's start at the top of the ticket, Micah and Braun, but you can work it across the board. Now, look, I don't vote. I'm not one, like, I didn't vote for Banks. I don't vote for Baird. I don't vote. Most of my ballots left blank anyway. But I'm looking at this going, why even participate anymore? All it does is cost me time in line.
Mm-hmm.
All it does is take up hours of my day every couple of years, and you get absolutely nothing for it. And none of these people are worth believing in anymore. So why even vote? Screw campaigning or endorsing or whatever. Why even vote for any of these people?
It's interesting because you had put this out on social media and you said at this point, I'm leaning more and more towards the what's the point in voting crowd. Nothing ever changes. People say one thing, then do the exact opposite once elected. There's no way to hold them accountable. By not voting, I would save myself hours in line every few years. And one of the comments was, we can't let them win, Rob. This is our state and our country. Your voice is so important to Indiana. And this is somebody who's still looking at the white hat, black hat scenario. We can't let them win.
Who is them?
Or are they right. Or are they talking about politicians versus the voters? And so many people say, well, you don't want to let those Democrats in because with all of their ideology, look what they're going to do.
Right.
So you're paying one way or the other.
Sure. But I don't, that's my point. It's like I don't see any, would I have gotten even higher taxes than what my property taxes are now or what all these gas tax. We have one of the highest gas taxes in the nation. They raised taxes by $1 billion. Now, I don't smoke, so those tax increases don't directly, affect me. But these wheel tax, all of these things, why did I do any of it? And I'll tell you what, I look at like what a guy like Micah's doing right now, where he's going to some event in Muncie, and he rolls in wearing a 47 hat as the lieutenant governor, where he's there as the lieutenant governor, and he's wearing a 47 hat, which is Trump, and he's solely there to pick fights. He went down to Monroe County the other day solely to pick fights. He has no interest in public policy whatsoever. He clearly is completely clueless based on the fact that he admitted he had no idea what was in the property tax bill, didn't even know whether it was good or bad. Had to have the WIBC audience get up his ass for 4 days before he'd say veto the bill. That was the guy that pledged to do everything. No matter what, I'll fight for you and I'll take the whole state house on. And look at what he's turned into, a self-indulgent clown wearing a Trump hat at a place where he's disappointed if a bunch of people don't show up to pick a fight with him. Hey, did he ever make that video that he promised us to make about the tax increases in the budget? Remember, he flippantly promised to do that? Or like we talked about yesterday, with what appears to be, what could be, at the very best, it's highly unethical behavior. At worst, it could be public corruption with the Secretary of State. Look at how flippant he was with you the other day about when you asked him a very serious question. Oh, and by the way, all the conversations we had with him never once disclosed that he got the $5,000 from Diego. Let's talk about Braun. Right in front of us. Rolls up to 1,000 people, looked him right in the eye and lied to him. I walked out of that rally that day thinking, man, at the very least, this guy is going to stand up for us and make them earn every second of how they're going to screw us over. And then just disappeared for 3 weeks, then came out and goes, we've struck a deal on a bill that's going to raise all your taxes. What's the point? What's the point of any of it? I hope they all lose. I hope all of these people lose. And whatever I can do, I guess, to make that happen at this point, I guess that's what I want to participate in. Because I don't believe anybody's going to be any better, but I don't want these people to be rewarded anymore for this ridiculous behavior. And that's a horrible way to feel about your government, and it's a horrible way to feel about not wanting to engage anymore. But I'm out of ideas, Casey, after 15 years.
Somebody suggested a contract with Indiana, which candidates sign and follow, or they lose.
Oh, you mean like the one that Grover Norquist had where these people pledge not to raise taxes and then vote on tax increases? The word means nothing to these people. That's the problem. None of these people, their word means nothing. And now with people like Marlon Stutzman, you can't even go off past behavior because he's behaving now because they got to him. And they said, Marlon, you're going to go this time and you're going to be a good boy. You're not going to raise any fuss like you did last time. You can't even go off how they voted the last time. Who do we believe in at this point? Who can you count on to stand up for you every single time?
Well, saying one thing and doing another, I mean, that's pretty standard, really. With your politician, I think you have to, it's kind of like expectations, right? You got to go into it, I guess, knowing that that's the way it's going to be.
And I think that's why at this point, I am at a position where the only thing I have the ability to do is try to ensure that these people, I'm stuck with them. I'm stuck having to deal with them. Try to make them as miserable as I possibly can using this little platform that we have, and use this as best I can to try to burn as much of this down as I can and expose these people as much as I can. And I've just never been this without
disheartened?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to show up here and tell you how much these people suck every day. I totally am. But I've never been at a point where it doesn't matter what they say. It literally doesn't. It doesn't matter what they tell you. They can, 1,000 people. He looked right at 1,000 people. We were all blown away. We were like, I didn't know he had that in him. Oh my gosh, he's even better than we thought he was going to be. Remember us walking out of there saying, at least we got him.
Yeah, you're talking about Governor Braun.
I'm not even going to get into the errand boy who's directly under him as lieutenant governor and what a disappointment he's been. And look at how he now has fallen in line. His life is he wears Trump hats to official events as lieutenant governor where there's 10 people sitting in some look like church pews. And he's disappointed he doesn't get somebody there that hates him so he can fight with them because that'll get him on the news. That's our government. That's the tippy top of our government, those two guys.
Well, it's symbolic anyway.
Then you go to Secretary of State. Then you go to the Attorney General. Look at these people. Thanks for letting me vent. I feel better.
Well, I mean, I think it's all about handling expectations, and you have to look at some of the positive things. Like, I understand you're deeply disappointed in the one big beautiful bill put out by Trump. So I would advise you to focus on some of the positive things that he's done, like closing the border and giving these ICE agents a raise. And, you know, I don't want to argue with you about it, but that stuff does cost money. It's got to come from somewhere.
So does your mortgage. What do you do to pay it? You make sure you don't spend money that you don't, that if you need to buy food, if you need to pay your rent, you don't spend more money than you have. Is there any other?
I'd rather them focus that on money on other areas. I mean, when you look at what they're putting that money towards.
Yeah. Anyway,
some of the ridiculous projects that it's been spent on.
So I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. If somebody can convince me otherwise, that there is.
Did you see Rokita was down in Texas, by the way?
Why are these guys always going places and doing things other than their actual job?
He was down at the border.
Was he arresting illegal immigrants? Did he strap on a bulletproof vest, and was he handcuffing some guys from Guatemala that were sneaking into the country? What is Todd Rokita? What possible reason could there be other than for a photo op? It's the same reason the clown goes to India. It's all about because I can. What are you going to do about it? All right. We got to talk about how much this woman on the internet has made, because I don't understand any of this. When we come back, can we talk about this?
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Assessing the track conditions this weekend. I'm Jarrett Lewis for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 11:30. What you can expect weather-wise for race day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Morning might start off a little chilly again, low of 49 degrees, but by the afternoon we'll be well into the 60s, near 70 degrees, and it's going to be fairly nice.
Forecaster Cody Moore from the National Weather Service says any rain on Sunday will likely happen after the race and mostly to the south. Carb Day festivities are now underway at IMS. The IMS Museum this week announcing plans for a new 60,000 square foot facility to be built just south of the Speedway that will be used to showcase and restore cars. Former Martinsville substitute teacher Brittany Fortenberry is facing additional charges in relation to abuse of 2 minors. Prosecutors added a dozen more, including incest and child molesting. And the Pacers are back at Madison Square Garden tonight, trying to take a commanding 2-0 series lead on the New York Knicks. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
At the IHSAA, we love when student athletes understand the real purpose of playing high school sports, like McKenna Cruz from Greenwood Community High School.
I love competing for my high school, but I don't play for accolades, records, or to earn college scholarships. For me, it's about more than winning, playing time, or trophies. I play high school sports because they help me grow alongside my friends, develop character and integrity, and learn life lessons I'll carry with me forever. Soccer reminds me of the power of teamwork and how we can help each other succeed. Track teaches me to focus on the things I can control and not worry about outside noise. High school sports show me the value of discipline, grit, and representing my community with dignity. They prepare me for life, and that's why I play.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Support student athletes like McKenna by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is being a champion of high school sports. This is empowering student athletes. This is your IHSAA.
Heat and cool with nearly geothermal efficiency in places you can't fit ductwork with Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits.
Just go to AbsoluteComfort.org. That's AbsoluteComfort.org.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
We got to talk about how much this chick makes doing nothing on the internet. But first, I wanted to point something out. You and I were talking at a break.
Yeah.
Because I just said I don't see any point in voting anymore. These people lie. And let's talk about another lie. Remember when Braun said in this property tax bill, he said, well, we're coming back for more next year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, last time, there's 12 months in the year, right?
Yeah.
The session starts in January. So you've got, you've got June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Org Day is the start of it all, which really, so that's 6 months. You got 6 months. And if you were actually, it's been a month.
Yeah.
You've not heard a word from Braun about what the next step is. You've got 6 months to come up with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
If you were actually going to do something meaningful, which he was talking about, like, I don't know, come at township government, which is sitting on hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars with nothing to do with it, you would have started that a long time ago.
Wouldn't you be out with your messaging already?
That's right. They have no plan, which is exactly what I told you a month ago, and exactly true today. They haven't thought about it since they passed it. No. And I told Braun when I sat in that meeting with him.
No, they ran out of there.
Yeah, I told Braun, I said, you're done with this. And I said, the lawmakers are done with it. Don't give me this crap about you're coming back for more next year. It comes back to what I'm talking about, the lying. It's one lie after another, and what's the point in engaging with any of these people running because they all just lie to you?
Mm-hmm. So how long do you think it would take for them to craft a plan and then start communicating that message to everyone?
The original plan to get rid of township government, which was Kernan Shepherd, which is a fabulous plan commissioned by Mitch Daniels in the mid-2000s, which was put together in a bipartisan fashion by former Republican Chief Justice Randall Shepherd and former Democrat Governor Joe Kernan. That was going to be a multi-year, and it was a gloriously well-done document. And you know what they did? Threw it on a shelf.
Yeah.
To get rid of township government, the time you would need and the buy-in and the public tour you would have to go on, they have no plan. They're done. They're done with it. So that's my point. It's just one lie. It's just one lie after another. And all right, real quick, I'm going to get angry. Can we talk about how much money this woman makes on the internet to do nothing?
Is she lying?
Good question. Okay, so her name is Sophie Rain. We've mentioned her before. She does nothing, right? She's an OnlyFans person, but she doesn't do the stuff, right?
So what? She just sits there?
I don't know, Kev.
And talks to people.
OnlyFans is your
on
generation.
Outfits?
She doesn't do anything, does she?
I thought she did something with gaming.
That's what I asked. Does she sit there and...
But that's not the thing. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, not the thing.
Well, I think she does some cosplay or dressing up or something, but I don't think she does nude content.
It's much less pornography. It's not even... She doesn't even do nudity.
Okay.
She just dresses up in outfits. And she has bought this massive piece of property and house, and she got stopped and asked how much money she's made doing nothing on the internet. And here's what she said.
You this then, how much money have you made total out of this whole thing?
Total? Around 72 million.
72 million? Okay, what's the most expensive thing that you've bought so far?
Probably my house.
Your house?
Yeah, my house. I just dropped, it was 2.7 million on my house.
Okay, now is that the BOP house or that's your solo house?
No, that's my solo house. So I'm trying to start a farm, actually.
A farm?
A farm in Florida, and I just bought 20 acres with a giant mansion on it. So that was my biggest purchase. Bought it cash.
Damn. What's going on in our society that a woman, while I think, Kev, well assembled, thumbs up, thumb down, what Broad Ripple rating are we giving her?
I think the assemblage is pretty good.
I mean, probably an 8.
Yeah, probably 8, maybe 9. Even.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but she's doing nothing on the internet. The average person is struggling to pay their mortgage on their 1,500 or 1,600 square foot home on a third of an acre.
Mm-hmm.
They get up and go to work each day. This person does nothing and is made $72 million and just bought 20 acres with cash in Florida, 2.whatever million. What does this say about our society, Casey?
Well, there's nothing that you could tell her to do anything different.
No, why would she?
Right, why would she? She probably has multiple avenues of income. It's probably not just the OnlyFans.
She claims she's made $72 million on OnlyFans.
From OnlyFans.
That's what she said. Why would she lie about that?
No endorsement deals anywhere. There's no...
With Nike? Or like...
I don't know. I don't know who she is. I'm not
Doritos?
one of her customers.
That's my point. Who are the customers? What are you paying for?
Mm-hmm.
What are you getting with your monthly? Is that what it is? Is it a monthly fee? I
think so.
Is that what it is? What does it say about our society that this person with no applicable talent or skill set whatsoever can make $72 million and pay $2.whatever million for 20 acres, and people get up and go to work each day and contribute to society? Plumbers, carpenters, roofers.
Is this one of those situations where you sign up for a subscription and then you forget to cancel it? So it's just people who forgot.
How much money has this broad made off people forgetting to cancel?
Forgetfulness.
All right.
Memorial
Day tribute.
Yeah.
Next, we pay tribute to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Coming up next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
This afternoon, 3:06, the Hammer and Nigel Show live at Carb Day, Garage 23, the Hensley Legal Group Command Center, and it's Beer Sample Friday.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Prepare for the summer heat with energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. Window Nation windows are built to keep your house cool during the hot summer days, and Window Nation has some of the best energy-efficient windows on the market. Their windows frequently outperform and outlast some of the more expensive guys. Window Nation windows are assembled right here in America. Check out this deal. Right now, when you buy 4 windows, you'll get 4 for free. For 2 years, you won't have to worry about a down payment, interest, or monthly payments. That's right, you don't pay anything until 2027. And if that's not enough, get a free entry door when you buy a house of windows. But you have to mention Hammer and Nigel sent you. You don't get the deal without saying Hammer and Nigel sent you. 866-90-NATION. Schedule a fast, free estimate right now with Window Nation or visit windownation.com.
Race fans, convention goers, and visitors of all kinds, welcome to Indianapolis, a great event hosting city thanks to Hoosier hospitality and terrific infrastructure, like state-of-the-art stadiums, meeting spaces, and hotels, plus a world-class airport and interstates that make it easy to get around. But these buildings and roads don't just happen. They're built by men and women living here in central Indiana. Union members of Labor's Local 120 maintain and build in these roads, bridges, and highways. They're the ones you pass as you drive by the orange barrels. It's hard work, dangerous work. Yet there they are, working to make sure you have a smoother, safer ride to your event. And just like you, they'd like to get home safe too. So let's be mindful of the local workers who make the roads safe for all of us.
This is Chris Bricky, business manager of Labor's Local 120. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save lives. We're all in this together.
If you love spring and Indy but hate the paint, do what Lynn did. She called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came, and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time, we had the roof done as well.
Now, you can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Even the people that have been a little younger than us have said they don't have to worry about getting just an everyday painter because Rhino Shield has the 25-year warranty, and we truly believe in this product.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino!
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
This May, you can be a hero at the finish line. Say yes to organ donation and talk to your family about your decision. A message from Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives.
Politics, punchlines, and pure WIBC. The Mashup Podcast pulls the day's best moments from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, and drops them in one place. New episodes each weekday. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
Casey, I think we would be remiss if we didn't close out our show this week because Monday is Memorial Day. Taking a few moments to talk about what Memorial Day is actually all about and pay tribute to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for the country.
Yeah, Memorial Day, a U.S. federal holiday. It's dedicated to honoring and mourning the military personnel who have died in the performance of their duties. Now, you may not know this, but Memorial Day originally started out being known as Decoration Day, and that stems from the tradition of decorating graves. And it was first observed all the way back in 1868, and it began primarily to recognize Union soldiers.
Yeah, this is interesting. So it became, a national thing observed by the country in 1968. And what we know it as today, the last Monday in May, 1971, standardized the name to Memorial Day. So we've been at this now in its current form for 50 plus, going on 60 years. And, I think it gets a little lost in the shuffle sometimes, and I don't think anybody's by any means ill-intended or not trying to do their part as a patriotic American. But that day, Monday, you don't go to work, is supposed to be about remembering and celebrating people who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And I know a lot of people, and I'm not saying they're wrong, get very upset about who gets honored on Memorial Day, and people say, well, veterans have their own day. And so that's why I thought it would just be a good moment as we part ways with our audience, because we will not be here on Monday as well, to just kind of remind people that this is a day that is specified and is carved out, and rightfully so, for people who selflessly laid down their life for this country.
So it has become a time for family gatherings, and many people view it as the unofficial start of summer throughout the country. And a lot of people, a lot of critics note that it does overshadow its solemn purpose, especially when you hear about the grilling out and the sales, Memorial Day sales, everything that's going on. It's really about a day to remember those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Often, besides the grilling and the shopping, it's marked by ceremonies at cemeteries and war memorials, and especially a national memorial at Arlington National Cemetery.
And if you think about the Indy 500, which you'll be able to hear the race Sunday beginning at 6 a.m., it was nice of them to start at 6 a.m. That means you can hear State House Happenings at 5:30 on Sunday. It's nice that they're doing their 500 programming around the award-winning State House Happenings program.
Yeah.
But any person who has been around the Hoosier State for any length of time or listened to the broadcast on the radio, or even if you watched it on TV, hearing taps played is one of the real, I hate to use the word highlights, because obviously it is in remembrance of people who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, but it really is. I mean, it is an opportunity in which on Sunday, 350,000 plus people at the world's biggest single-day sporting event will stop what they're doing, and millions of people around not just the country but the world will stop what they're doing, and it will be reminded of the people who have laid down their lives for this country to help make us what we are today.
Yeah, it is. It does give you goosebumps when you're in that environment. So a little Memorial Day flag protocol for you, because I know that you do have a flag in your front yard.
I do.
Rob. On Memorial Day morning, the American flag is raised briskly to the top of the staff for a moment, and then it is to be lowered solemnly to half staff, and it should remain there until noon, and that is to symbolize the nation's mourning. And then the flag should go full staff from noon until sunset.
All right, so I want to just say a couple things then before we go, which is that American, I heard this when I was a kid, and it's always stuck with me. America is the greatest idea ever conceived by man. Mm-hmm. And if you take away Christ and the biblical writings, you know, that was not conceived by man, it was conceived by God. And America obviously was profoundly influenced by God, who had his hand all over it. But when you think of things that man wrote, I would put America up against anything in human history. And when you think about the idea that you had all of these incredibly brilliant people, incredibly brave and brilliant people, together in the same place at the same time, working for the same cause, it was essentially the Big Bang of human history, right? That's what it was. And there's no way that there was not divine providence and intervention over all of that, because there's no way this country should have existed when you look at, on paper, the idea of the Americans against the British. And so God has so blessed this country throughout the course of our history, and a big part of this blessing, this will sound weird to say, but I believe it, the big part of the blessing is putting people in this country who have been willing to give their life for this country.
Yeah, it is worth keeping. It is worth fighting for. And we thank and remember those people who did lose their life over keeping and fighting for it.
And none of this would exist without any of our veterans, right? So, and again, we're in no way trying to underscore somebody who was blessed and fortunate enough not to lose their life. But obviously, this is a day where you single out people who did fall in the field of battle. And look, we are very critical on a daily basis of our government because they don't live up to the ideals set forth and spelled out in the foundation of this country. We are critical of the politicians, not of America. We're critical of the people who run the country because they do not live up to the values, ideals, and expectations set forth in the foundation of the country, or in many cases, the people who died for the country. And so for those of you who have loved ones who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, we remember you over not just Monday, but this weekend. We thank you if you're visiting those gravestones over the next several days. We ask you to thank those people for us, for giving us this life, for giving us this freedom, for giving us the ability to do this show every single day. So it would not be possible without the people who paid the ultimate sacrifice for this country. And I just wanted to go out this week thanking those people and making sure that we used some very valuable minutes of this highly rated radio program.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the new ratings? They're phenomenal.
I did.
And we wanted to say thank you. Now, that being said, you are telling the audience to kiss both of your butt cheeks next week. You are out all of next week. Is that correct?
I am. I'm going to the East Coast. I will be in Washington, D.C., and also in Baltimore. Did you know that there was the original Washington Monument was in Baltimore?
I did not know that.
Fort McHenry, Star-Spangled Banner was written there in Baltimore. So a lot of history, not only in Washington, D.C., but also in Baltimore, and I'm going to tour a lot of it.
Well, and I think it's great that, because the average radio career is about 9 seconds. I think it's great that you're preparing when we are inevitably blown out of here at some point for your career as a tour guide in the greater Baltimore area.
You think that's what I'll do?
I think that's phenomenal.
I think ultimately when I get blown out of here, I'm going to hang up the headphones, Rob.
I'm out. All right. Send us home, Casey.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you back here on Tuesday. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Spring is here, and Dammons is full speed ahead with endless plant production of perennials, annuals, hanging baskets, roses, and planters. Trucks are arriving with fresh trees and shrubs. Dammons' friendly staff is ready to assist you and get you the help you need. So for any of your gardening needs, experience Dammons South on Emerson Avenue and Dammons West on Rockville Road.
Dammons Lawn and Garden, Indiana's most complete garden center.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
Summer heat is coming. Will your air conditioner be ready? Don't risk an expensive breakdown. A quick tune-up from B&W catches problems early and keeps your family cool and comfortable. Join thousands of Hoosiers who trust B&W